Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week, in Webster Township, Michigan, a reclusive woman disappears, leaving neighbors scrambling for answers and police looking for an area drifter. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you for joining us on another exciting edition of Small Town Murder. Again, we have a doozy of a story this week. As usual, last week was crazy, obviously. We went to Nitro, coming from West Virginia in a town named after explosives.
I am completely blown away by how many of our listeners are from that area.
It's so many people on Twitter and Facebook. Hey, I'm from here. My husband's from here. This one's. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
You nailed how bad it stinks, by the way.
Oh, I know. Everybody. Well, that was like, it's called the Chemical Valley. They're calling it. So I assumed that was probably nicknames don't come for nothing.
We didn't go too hard on how bad it stinks.
No,
is what I was told.
I heard not hard enough. I was like, you didn't hit that. Like, number one, you have to know is there's a stench over all of this. Like that just goes over all of this. But thank you folks for all your feedback on that. And thank you especially to all the people out there who got on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever the hell it is, and gave us, they're fine. They
it's
put
just,
us up. But
it's so
the fact that we have to do,
And how did they do that to us?
What do you call the purple icon?
Right.
If you've gone on there and given us 5 stars, we really appreciate it. If you haven't done it yet, please get on there, give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. It's really not for our egos. It's just for business. business. It's iTunes and their funky algorithm. We can't control it.
Harry is my shoulders.
That's what it is. It's dancing around that algorithm, and it needs reviews and helps drive us up the charts. So thank you very much for doing that. And also, if you want to be an even better friend of the show and wonderful producer person, you can go over to patreon.com/crimeinsports, and you can make a donation there, or you can head over to PayPal and use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com, and you can make a one-time donation there. But there's an easy way to do that. Rather than going to those, you just go to shutupandgivememurder.com, and everything is there. Links to the merch. There's new shirts up, new stuff up. Wear them to a live show.
Yes.
And damn it, get those tickets to the live shows.
You better hurry.
Right now, if you're listening to this the day it comes out, we're in Houston today, and we're in Dallas tomorrow.
Right.
And if this is later than that, then we were in Houston and we were in Dallas, and you missed it. But I'm telling you guys, our live shows are so much fun. They really, really are. We don't mean to oversell them, but we're that confident in how much fun they are.
They're great.
That you really, really need to come out. If you like the show, it's so much better than just the podcast. I have to say that. The energy from the people, we have visuals of everything mixed in. Tons more jokes. It's a good time, honestly. We as stand-ups have opened and been a part of a lot of comedy shows.
Ridiculous amounts of really great shows.
Big giant comics who you've seen in movies and on TV and that you think are amazing, and our live shows are as good as anything that any of these people can put on. I feel like, as far in terms of laughter, people laugh more at our live shows than they do at any damn stand-up show I've ever seen. So please come out and see us there. The links are in shutupandgivememurder.com. You can follow them to donate if you want to do that also, because God damn it, every dime is essential, and we can't thank you enough for all of that.
We say it in private to each other all the time.
It's amazing. Yeah, we do. Thank you.
That we are because of us being rooted in comedy. That we're very thankful for that, because we are capable of doing a lot, an energetic and fun live show.
Yeah,
I'm so
that's all comedy. Yeah, it was good training for this. Yeah, definitely.
It's so great.
But also, guys, it's the time. Then we have to do the disclaimer, everybody. This is a comedy podcast, as we've told you once. We've told you 87 times before this. This is a comedy podcast. Everything is real. The stories are real. The facts and the figures and the evidence and everything like that. The court stuff. Everything's real. We don't make anything up for the purpose of jokes or things like that. But we are stand-up comics, and we do make jokes about things that deserve to be made fun of.
For sure.
That's the thing. We don't make fun of the victims or the victims' families. Usually, that's what we try to do, because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
No, sir.
That's how it works. But otherwise, anything else, if it deserves it, it's getting it, damn it.
Goddamn right.
Small towns, awful police forces that do terrible jobs and just shrug their shoulders and go, I don't know, and walk away. We're going to pick on that. If a town stinks of chemical, we're going to talk about that for a minute, and it's going to be fun. So if that sounds good to you, then, man, you're in for a good time.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't sound good to you, if true crime and comedy never should go together your mind, then it's fair, but have a good one, because we're not going to like each other.
See you around.
Yeah, it's been a bad first date. Let's end it early. Let's not order entrees.
We'll pay our half.
That's
you pay yours.
That's it. We'll pay for our drinks and be gone.
Fuck out of here.
You got that one appetizer I had no interest in. You can pay for that.
I'm not going to force you to watch me jerk
spinach
off.
dip.
Right, yeah.
That's all it is. So we'll do that and have a good one. But for the rest of you, awesome people that we're going to have a good time with,
fucking A.
Shout it out from your cars, from your homes, from wherever the hell you are, on the treadmill, in your cubicle, unless you're in a conservative office that would frown on this sort of thing. Then, like I said, go into the bathroom and quietly mumble it into your hands. But either way, top of your lungs, shut up and give me murder. Let's do it, people. Yeah. Let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
I would love that.
You ready to rock and roll? Jesus, we're going on a trip.
We just got to Houston.
We're getting to Houston.
This point.
This is the thing. Also, this show probably will be a little bit shorter than normal. Not too much shorter, but a little bit shorter. Same crazy story, just a little bit shorter of a story, because I literally have to fly out like early in the morning and have to get this thing edited, and I don't have a lot of time. So let's do this. We're going all the way from West Virginia to Michigan.
It's a quick flight.
It's not a bad flight, I don't think, from West Virginia to Michigan. We're leaving the stench behind, and we're going to Michigan.
A different stench.
Which is a different smell, and watch out for the water. Yeah. So this is Webster Township, Michigan here. Now, it's weird because we're going to talk about a couple different places. The murder happens in Webster Township, Michigan, but Webster Township, Michigan is like a weird civil township that they share like statistical information with the rest of the zip code, which is this other town called Dexter. And then there's a Whitmore Lake in the area too, which is another town that they reference all the time because it's right nearby, because these small towns all butt up against each other. So we'll talk about a couple different places, but Webster Township is where the whole thing happened, and they're all right around each other anyway.
Got it.
It's in the southeastern part of the state down here in Michigan. We were up in the UP last time for Manistee, which was 80,
that was so long ago.
83 episodes ago or something.
Shit.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. But this is in the southeastern part of the state. It's about 50 minutes outside of Detroit, which that's less than an hour, but you would never know it. It's farmland. It's like you would never know that you were only an hour away from Detroit.
Is that like near the lake, or is that damn near Canada?
No, it's to the west of Detroit.
Okay.
It's over to the west here. About 50 minutes there, about 3.5 hours to Chicago, about 3 hours to Cleveland. It's in Washtenaw County. Up there, I don't know, but also Oakland County people get involved, investigators. I don't think Washtenaw County has the facilities.
Gotcha.
We're dealing with some small town shit here.
Some rural stuff.
Wait till you hear the incompetence here. It's frightening. It's goddamn frightening.
They were so dumb they hired some town called Oakland to give them a hand.
Oakland County. Yeah, no, this is like the incompetence here is like, really?
Yeah.
Wait, we'll get to it.
Based on name alone, you don't make that phone call.
No, that's true. No, I'm not going to call them there. That's going to be all messed up. So it's zip code 48130, area code 734. Town motto is, smell that Detroit. As you can smell it wafting over, but it's, no, just kidding. Detroit, by the way, we will be in Detroit in December, so buy your goddamn tickets to that shit because it's going to sell.
That's going to be fucking great.
It's going to be a blast. Yeah, it's a cool venue, and we're going to have a lot of fun there. So come out to Detroit, but that's not why we're doing this. We just needed to go to Michigan eventually again, and here we are.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, damn it. The town is honestly, they're not... It's so rural that it's like Dexter is rural also, but this place is like it's excessively rural. Like when you look at like some of the websites that talk about it, it's like you can tell it's rural because the properties are 98% owned and only 2% rented. So that tells you it's a lot of farmland. It's a lot of like old farms and farms that have been in families for a long time and shit like that. And
not like the movie Roots, but like the roots are set in stone. And they're staying.
And people with money. This is a pretty wealthy area also. There's a lot of horse farms and shit like that out here. So that's the kind of thing we're dealing with here. The history of this town, which is fucking hilarious here. We'll get into this.
Laughing? What am I doing?
There's not a lot of history here, but I love hearing like pioneer history. I love hearing people that went to the middle of nowhere and were surprised that shit was difficult. I'm always get a kick out of that where they're like, this is odd. It's weird that's not delicious. We thought it would be.
And it's the Midwest, historically a difficult place to live.
It's a difficult place. And up in Michigan, it's cold and it's forest and it's, if you're going to be a pioneer up there, it's not an easy going here. So, they said they tried, there's this one account from back then where this, a writing of the 1700s when people got there, and they said it was very hard in the month of November. They had no other food but the bear's flesh that quote, our savage killed. Which is the
natives.
They had an employed native guide
and they called him a savage.
Yeah, to have them not get killed and have figure out how to kill the local animals and let them not die in their whiteness.
That's amazing.
Well, if the guy's getting the only food that you have, maybe that you could be call him a guy.
Right, the fellow we employ.
Our employee would be fine. That'd be okay. You're paying him to do a job, so an employee's fine. A worker, I'll take worker. That's okay. It's better than savage. It's not wonderful.
Maybe he didn't prepare the bear well, and they were like, "Fuck it,
fuck it, you fucking savage." Is that how you eat bears?
That's their Yelp review
fucking
of him.
Savages. Fucking savages eating bears. You don't saute bear. What the hell's wrong with you?
My
Jesus
bear's
Christ.
a bit well done.
You braise the bear. You braise it. Fucking savages. Jesus Christ. Oh man. So this guy is upset about the taste of the savage, or not of the savage. Jesus Christ.
I hope not.
We gave up on the bears and we ate the man who worked for us. He was delicious.
That's what happened.
End of story.
He didn't even tenderize
Then
it.
we
It was
went
a little
home.
tough.
Then we went home because we had no one to help us. So don't eat your employees. So he says about the bears, not the Indians. Right. He says, quote, "These beasts are very common in this place because of the great quantity of grapes they find there. But their flesh is being too fat and luscious. Our men began to be weary of it and desired to leave to go a hunting to kill some wild goats." Now let's number one, too luscious. Yeah. So it's like, I don't want this ribeye anymore. Right. I need stinky wild goat meat. And number two, there's wild goats. Right. I didn't know. I guess the mountain goats, but this isn't the mountains. There's woods goats that just wander the fuck around.
Is it? Maybe they didn't know that there was a farm nearby, and they were just shooting some dude's goats.
Bob's goats. Let's hunt for Bob's goats.
I don't imagine a goat tastes much better than a bear. That seems.
I just had this discussion too with Sarah. We went out to dinner and there was this goat cheese shit, and everybody loves goat cheese, and that's fine. She's like, "Well, that sounds good," and it was like a goat cheese. I think it was a macaroni and cheese or something. And I'm like, I'm not eating anything that comes out of a fucking goat. I'm sorry. I will not eat goat cheese. I'm just not eating it. She's like, "What? Have you ever smelled a goat?
Yeah.
Have you ever been around a goat?
I love goats.
Do you want anything that comes out of their bodies though? With that fucking, their outside smells like that. I want nothing that comes out of that thing.
The goat cheese does taste. I mean, goat cheese, lamb.
Cows stink too, but it's different.
Like
Lamb's delicious.
Like a lamb shoulder taste. It seems like it has a hint of goat cheese in it. It has like a little sour, gamey thing to it.
It's good though if you make it right with the rosemary
it's delicious.
and fennel.
I'm saying it's amazing.
Yeah.
But I mean, if
I don't want goat milk.
No, I guess
have a better option available.
You never had goat cheese pizza?
No, see, that's what I mean. Great Outdoors. I get it. No, I don't want the Roman goat cheese pizza. What was that? What cheese? No, you said there was a goat in there? No, a big man pizza. Big pizza. Our Great Outdoors reference.
What kind
of
of
the
pizza
week.
did you say? What pizza?
What pizza was that? Was there a goat? Is there a goat on this?
Man pizza.
Is there a goat in this pizza? I promise you the Great Outdoors references are not planned.
Eventually they'll slow down too, because we'll beat them all.
They just happen. It's in the movies. It's a treasure trove.
So great.
So they'd rather have wild goat than luscious, fatty bear meat. Right. So they're no good about that. Which
maybe bear's greasy.
I have no fucking idea. I would assume it's November.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that before they go into hibernation?
I don't know.
So I would think they'd be all fattened up. They fatten up for the winter.
Yeah. How about you just be thankful you got some fucking food?
Yeah, really. This fucking savage went out and killed him for you. The least you can do is fucking eat it, asshole. Have that.
It was Jesus free, Christ. You bunch of dicks.
Yeah, well, no, they had to pay the guy to do it, but still, it's sort of free. They didn't go out and sit down. They don't have to tip anybody. Right. It's a decent transaction. But Dexter area, we'll talk about Dexter and Webster kind of separately, even though they're next to each other in pretty much the same area. The Dexter area was settled in 1824. This is 13 years before Michigan even became a state. It was Samuel W. Dexter purchased a large tract of land and started the village out. It was first known as Mill Creek Settlement, and then the village was platted out in 1830, and they said, let's change it to Dexter. Yeah. Or he said, let's change it to Dexter.
Arrogant fuck.
I don't think that was a petition from the townsfolk. I think he was just like, I think it should be called Dexter. And they're like, really? And he's like, I own everything. I
have the most money.
You all work for me. And they were like, Dexter it is. That's short. It's shorter than Mill Creek Settlement, I guess.
How much you like your job?
That's it. You like your job? Dexter it is.
You want to be forced to eat savage bears?
You want this hey, listen, all we got's this fatty bear shit. Yeah, killed by a fucking savage, exactly. Or do you want nice wild goat killed by a white man? Which would you rather have, damn it?
Dexter it is.
Dexter it is. Fucking assholes. I just feel like all these people were assholes back then. I don't know why. I know they paved the way and all that shit, but I'm always like, they all seem like assholes. They had to be like assholes to do it, I guess. But
if we were alive back then, we would have been assholes too.
We would have been total assholes,
had to be,
probably.
because that's just the way it is.
Yeah, that's a good point. So in 1827, people came from Webster. It started out with this one family here.
With the Websters?
Not the Websters, actually. They came out 10 children deep.
Jesus.
This guy and his wife and a couple neighbors, and John Williams was his name, a very flashy guy, yeah. John Williams here. His neighbors, 10 children, 10 of them. They came from New York and, floated over the Lake Erie there because there was the price of land here was $150 an acre.
My word.
From the federal government. So That's not bad. $1.50 an acre, and you could pay it off over 5 years. So, I mean, you can get a shitload of land and be like, 5 years, you can start farming, and that's,
But at some point, you got to look back and go, it was $1.50. Can we just not talk about it?
Can we call it fucking even? Can we call it square now? Like, yeah.
I had to eat a bear last week.
You know how much bear I've eaten? Jesus, and these savages aren't cheap. Let me tell you something. The day rate is going up. These guys are union now. Do you know that? It's fucking getting tough on me.
You got to lean on my $7.50.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really, really, really tough here. So by 1826, of course, so that was. It's funny because that's like in Webster what happened. What was going on over in Dexter was by 1826, which is only a couple years after the guy Dexter got there. Right. 2 years later, there's already preachers going around conducting services in people's homes.
Jesus.
There's not even a goddamn building to do it in, and they're just knocking on doors going, want to gather your neighbors up and talk about the Lord? And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. I moved to the middle of goddamn nowhere. Imagine that. Yeah. Imagine if you moved to the middle of it's like a fucking 2-week journey. Ugh. If you get from New York, you floated your 10 children, you have all of your possessions, you get there, you build a fucking house out of the forest.
Right.
You just go out and you knock trees down and make fucking house out of it. That all happens.
Kick a bear out of his house to make a house for you.
That's what I mean. You're doing all this. You sit there. There's nobody around. Right. What do you get? A fucking preacher knocking on your door. I would fucking murder him.
You know how far I moved for this shit to not happen?
One good thing, I'm so far in the middle of nowhere, and it's 1825.
I'm quiet out here.
I am gonna put a musket in your mouth, and no one's gonna fucking hear it. Let's put it that way. You're going down, asshole. I'm sorry.
I'm in debt to the government for $11.50 just to do this shit.
I'm sorry, 19th century Jehovah's Witness. You're going in the fucking ground in the backyard because I cannot take people bothering me here. So they finally decided to build a church by 1832. People were sick and tired of people knocking on their doors. They got a bunch of logs. One guy, Daniel Webster, contributed $100 to this, which back then was a shitload of money. You could build a lot with $100. So yeah, Samuel Dexter ended up being, he was elected a University of Michigan regent. He was Chief Justice of the Washtenaw County Court. All sorts of shit here. He had a home overlooking Mill Creek built, and he called it Gordon Hall. I don't know why.
What the fuck is that?
Who cares? Doesn't really matter.
He's impressive. That's all right. He can do what he wants.
He can do what he wants. He was an abolitionist. He did not believe in slavery, and they said that it's 99% certain that his house, Gordon Hall, was a stop on the Underground Railroad.
Awesome.
Yeah, he had secret areas in the basement, accessible through hidden doorways outside. So they didn't have written records of it, but all that it's designed like all the other houses.
It looks like it.
So so it was made for that, which is fucking cool. Good for him.
That duck is quacking like crazy.
Yeah, look at that. So they're not a bad guy that started, not a complete asshole. Like some of these guys, like the Kentucky, the guy who the guy who thought he killed his girlfriend's other boyfriend, so he hid in the woods for 2 years, and then came back and was like, oh, he's still alive? Oh, I guess never mind then. And
then
a
duel or whatever?
Named a fucking town after him. None of this shit. At least this guy was decent. Weird shit here in the Dexter area. In March 20th, 1966, the Dexter area experienced what they called, quote, one of the most infamous of all UFO sightings in history. This was a local truck driver, a guy named Frank Manor,
you bet,
saw a glowing object near his home, obviously. I don't think that would usually what it is. An astronomer named J. Allen Hynek visited the town, and he said that the object was probably caused by swamp gas.
That's where it started?
Which is, that's where that started. Okay. That's the whole people saying that, it's swamp gas, reflecting off that joke from the 80s. That started with this guy.
Men in Black?
Yeah, that started with this guy, which was a recycled joke from the 80s, like every other thing in Men in Black. Just fucking Christ. It was all that shit.
And somebody's got such a huge house.
Oh, Will somebody, 100 people. Between the movie and the song, Will Smith is like, I am raping the Men in Black fans for every dime they have.
How will flashy thing everybody forever?
Forever. I'll
until
wear
they
this
stop
suit
buying
and dance.
tickets.
That's it. I'll keep doing it. So the swamp gas thing made Gerald Ford, who wasn't president yet, he was a congressman at that point, he called for a thorough investigation of the, quote, quote, rash of reported sightings of unidentified flying objects in southern Michigan. Damn it, it's 1960, late 60s. We have nothing else going on. It's not like everybody in our country's being assassinated, everybody famous, and everybody's dropping dead, and oh yeah, we're in a goddamn giant war, and no, we're good. Yeah. Everything's fine. Riots in the street. No, let's investigate the fucking swamp gas up here.
We have 15, 20 people to designate for swamp gas.
Good job. No wonder why you lost to Jimmy Carter. I mean, and Jimmy Carter's a nice guy, but I mean, he's not exactly a political like dynamo as far as, you know. So I mean, to lose like a fight to Jimmy Carter, you gotta fucking.
He's not a genius poetic speaker either.
No, well, he's very likable, Jimmy. But I mean, like, he's not like a guy who's gonna stick it to you. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you could punch Jimmy Carter in the face, and he go, "No, I don't understand why you did that." It's just that he's that kind of guy. So yeah,
just a dopey sweetheart.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. So. The people in this town, let's get to that. Webster Township has 6,700 people right now. That's the kind of farm area there. And now the rest of the stats here that I'm going to give you here are combined Webster-Dexter mixed together.
Got it.
Dexter and Webster together have about 15,200 people here. This is up 93% since 1990.
What is going on there?
That's just people moving to suburbs since 1990.
Or getting the fuck out of Flint?
Getting the fuck out of Flint, getting the fuck out of Detroit, getting the fuck out of all these cities. They go to these suburbs. That's, prices shoot through the roof. It's every suburb of every major city for everywhere, basically. It happened in New York. I saw in the Hudson Valley, lower Hudson Valley, where I'm from, when, you know, the real estate's insane there now. It's like there's no other reason except it's an hour away. You can commute to New York City. That's it. So that's the only thing that's drawing you there. So anyway, median age here is about 38.6, which is about a year older than our norm. More females than males, but not by a huge margin. A lot of young people. And by that, I don't mean like, 25. Almost double the age, like the usual age groups of ages 5 to 14.
What?
It's almost double the numbers of those age groups.
So they're getting the fuck out of the city to raise children.
That's what it is. Yeah. This is tons of like young families with young kids.
And they're done with the gunshots.
They said, let's move out there. People, it's a lot of professionals, everybody there's a lot of education here. Everybody's very educated. Everybody here is college educated. There's colleges near here. It's outside of Ann Arbor.
Interesting.
So that's a college town too. So you're going to get a lot of that. The married population here, usually 50-50. Yeah. Here it is 69%.
That's what it is.
So that tells you a lot. Yeah, this is young families. You're not moving there to swing.
No.
To be, hey, I'm going to go meet some chicks out in fucking Webster Township.
70% married chicks.
Baby, 70% married.
Unless that's your thing.
Unless that's what you're into. Who knows? You might be into that. Yeah. So single obviously is only about 31%. So and the out of the married too, they're all new people here. So normally the married population, and then they have now married. Like, and there's a difference in that from married to now married. Those are people who were married and have been married to people who are currently married. So it'll be like so like
it's like old money. It's like old married. They've been married a long time.
No. It's people that have been married and gotten divorced. So people aren't married anymore. So the married, they count as the married population because they've been married, but not, I don't know why they do it like that.
Why don't you count them as divorced, you fuck?
It's basically the same thing. Well, they do have divorced. Divorced is way less than normal here. It's like half of what the national average is for divorced people. There's less widows here. There's less never married people here.
Interesting.
Married with children is like almost 50% of the people, where it's normally 31%. It's just this weird, you just see those little tykes fucking cars running down streets. You're probably not even allowed to drive. It's like an old folks town with golf carts, except with those weird little like power wheels and shit rolling around. It's weird.
This town is essentially the game of life.
That's exactly what it is. Single with no children, 3.8%.
Wow.
So good fucking luck finding those people.
You better
out
get
there.
The fuck out of town if you want. If you want to catch whatever you're looking for.
Good luck. Race of this town, shockingly, 94% white. Yeah. So pretty white. Yeah, that's who's fleeing there. 0.03% black.
Wow.
If to be that close to Detroit and not have any black people, that sounds on purpose. Like, I'm just saying, like, obviously they're allowed in, but that seems like that seems on purpose to me.
Like
it's
a sign on the way in that has like color tones. And like after a certain shade, it's like turn back.
If you're darker than Q, you need to go.
Leave now.
It's A to Z. Asian, 1.3%. So, I mean, not a lot here. Hispanic, 2.62%. That's usually 17%. So, I mean, it's a very white town. People here, about 33% are religious. Okay. It's normally 50-50 here. It's a third. Mostly Catholic, 12.7% Catholic, and then a bunch of other different Christian denominations. 0.9% Jewish. Okay. So close. Yeah. So close. Almost one. So close to me being able to sing Hava Nagila again. 1% Jewish, we're getting Hava Nagila every goddamn time. We're going to celebrate. But no, 1.3% Islam.
I'm more fascinated that it's such a family-oriented town, yet they're not real big on the religious part.
No, they're not, because they're younger. Yeah. That's why. Younger people aren't as religious. That's a good point. There's a cutoff there of, like 40 and over and under 40 where going to church isn't a big priority.
It's a fascinating little town.
Yeah. It's an affluent little different kind of town. 1.3% Islam also, because Michigan has a lot of Muslim people. Okay. So Detroit, there's different pockets there that have a ton. The voting is about 2/3, 67% Democrat in the last election here, 31% Republican. Okay. So it's pretty blue. Unemployment rate is less than the national average, 3.5%. Household income is way higher than the national average, $93,977. Okay. It's about $94,000. That's about $40,000 more than the national average. So that's pretty good. 22% of people make $100,000 to $150,000. Yeah. And 13.5% make over $200,000.
This is very rich people,
which is way more than the averages. Yeah, this is they're real educated people here that have a lot of kind of white collar jobs too.
Lots of managers.
Yes, yeah. When you look at the jobs, there's less construction. There is more manufacturing jobs than normal here, though. 13% manufacturing jobs, but less retail trade, stuff like that. More than twice as many professional, scientific, and technical service jobs here. More educational service jobs, more healthcare and social assistance jobs. So these are all educational, they need to be educated.
Education driven.
Yeah. On the town website, which is very bare, on the Webster Township one, on there it says employment. So I clicked on that to see what they have, and it says positions available. And under that, it just says, quote, "We need your help."
What?
Is that free? Do you need volunteers for what? That sounds very shady.
Somebody build this website.
That's what they need. We need your help with this website because nothing is on here. It just says, "We need your help." I don't know what the fuck that means. That's under positions available. Okay.
And who are you talking to? Because that kind of advertisement's going to get some real bottom of the rung folks.
It's very strange. It's very strange.
You're getting resumes with that. You're getting phone calls.
You're getting, how do I even apply for the help job? That doesn't seem to be paying anything. Median home value in Webster is $374,600, which is quite a fucking bit, I would say. That's a lot. Very, very high compared to normal here. When you look at the housing, about 50% are between $200,000 and $400,000.
Half of them.
Not a lot under the $200,000 range at all. And there's a lot in the $500 to $750. That's 5% of them, which it's normally a little lower than that. Jesus. So it's pretty wealthy here.
There's $1 million homes here, isn't there?
Oh, there's $1 million homes here. Yeah.
My fuck.
I found a couple of resident reviews, which are hilarious.
Oh yeah.
These are all 3-star reviews, which I find odd.
Out of 5.
Yeah, 3 out of 5. It's like we have no strong opinion. So this one, one says, quote, "We don't have a nightlife at all because it's mainly a high school town," which is a high school. I've heard of college towns before, but a high school town. Okay. Next one says, quote, "I'm not really exposed to it, so I'm not sure. Lots of health nuts around, but I'm not involved." I don't know what that means. Involved in what? I don't know what you're talking about. One says, quote, "Residents in the surrounding area are primarily young families with middle school aged and college age children. The houses are large-sized homes with decent lots, not a lot of economy options nearby," which makes sense. Yeah. And this guy's angry at people for this is amazing. Quote, "Hear of crime and break-ins nearby, but it's infrequent and often because of carelessness of victims," quote, "leaving cars unlocked and doors unlocked." These people want to have a little town and feel safe in their homes and fuck them. Okay.
How dare they not lock their property on their property?
How dare they not do that? And if you want to leave your shit unlocked and have it stolen, and we've convinced you, the only place for you to be is here. We have for you the Webster/Dexter, Michigan Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom place here goes for $1,700 a month.
Okay.
So it's higher.
That's steep.
It's $500 higher than the average. I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, 1,100 square feet. It's kind of small and it's kind of an older place, and it's not on a lot of property. $219,999. Not too economical.
No.
I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,170 square foot house, which is a little bit nicer on the inside for $259,000. So it's rough. And then I found, if you said, fuck it, I don't care, I've done very well in whatever industry I'm doing, and I want to live in a nice house here in Dexter or Webster or wherever the fuck you are, I found a 6-bedroom, 4-bath, 5,271 square foot house for $549,000.
There you go.
It's actually not that bad. It's a little kind of rural and shit, but it's not bad.
That's feasible.
Not bad at all.
You're making $150,000 a year. That's a decent place.
Decent.
You'll be
right?
fine.
You'll be all right. Things to do, I found here. In Webster, look at historical farmhouses.
Yeah.
That's literally what they tell you to
Really?
do. You can go look at historical farm. Oh, wow.
That's not creepy.
They literally have historical barn tours.
Yeah.
Like, oh, isn't that great? So historical
that's how
barns.
people get their shit stolen.
Yay. This sounds fun. There's a barn.
The barns are
Ooh.
usually in the back of the property.
Yeah,
so you
you
got to
don't know
go
what's
walk
happening.
through somebody's fucking yard.
You don't know what's
They're
happening
encouraging
there.
you to
Come on.
trespass.
I think it's like probably, I would assume, like a
How
schedule.
much would you hate that?
I wouldn't want anybody. I would, like I said, if I'm out there,
Yeah.
I am, no, I'm turning into like a crazy militia person
Yeah.
with a shotgun on
You
my
got
porch.
a $500,000
Get
house
off my land.
with a farmhouse out back,
Yeah.
and some fucking dude comes by to look at your farmhouse. You're like, what are you
Not
doing
some dude.
here? Yeah,
50
your fucking neighbor.
50 fucking 45-year-old white people with fucking taking pictures repeatedly. That's what it'll be.
Now, like the website said to do this, James.
That's what it said.
Sorry, Mr. P.
Sorry. In Dexter, they have Dexter Days, which is D-A-Z-E, obviously. In August, they have that. There's a duck race, I found. Ooh, yeah, a duck race, children's theater, and somebody named Colors the Clown, who I hope is murdered and torn limb from limb in the town square, as an example to the other clowns.
Is that clown owned by a slave? Colors Clown?
He's not the colored clown. He's Colors the Clown. So
he's owned by...
Jesus. You know what? Clowns deserve it. I hope. That's not a
fuck
racial
that guy.
thing.
Yeah, I
fuck
hope
clowns.
yeah.
I don't care what you do to clowns. Have at it. Do whatever you want to them. They're open fucking season. Bastards. Crime rate in this town. Property crime is 2/3 less than the national average. It's about 1/3 of the national average property crime. And violent crime, which is murder, rape, robbery, assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is less than half of normal. And that includes the Dexter area, because the Webster Township area pretty much has no crime.
Wow.
It's pretty much crime free. The shit is too far away from everybody to have any crime. There's no centralized area to steal shit or kill anybody.
Everybody's too busy raising their fucking kids.
So there's not a lot there. So let's talk about some people who weren't too busy to have murder happen to them here. And this is a weird case, by the way. Try to find different shit, basically, because a lot of times it's, we're talking about small town murders, and most murders are like people you know. So it's like a lot of times it's a relationship gone bad, or some friends getting some weird beef, or some affair gone wrong, or whatever the fuck it is, a cult power struggle, like we had at a couple of them, and shit like that.
There's some methed out tweaker that just goes home and snaps.
Yeah, or a cannibalistic neighbor, or somebody. Somebody once in a while, somebody just has a bad day for some, like that Burlingame, Kansas guy who just snapped. You're like, what the hell happened there? Shit like that. But this is a weird one here for some reason. I find this very strange. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about an amazing new product that we really, really like, Misen.
Misen Knives, MISEN.co.
.co. MISEN.co. You might not know how to pronounce it, Misen. It doesn't matter.
No.
Because when you get this knife in your hand, you are going to know how to slice things, because these are the best knives I've ever had. They're so solidly constructed and so sharp, and they're just smooth.
They're incredible knives.
They're balanced wonderfully. wonderfully. They really are. Meissen is a kitchen cookware company. They make high-end kitchen necessities, but for a fraction of the price of these crazy expensive ones. And if you've looked for decent knives for a long time, you know. For a long time, you had two choices. Mm-hmm. You could either get a terrible knife where it's going to break off from the handle, you know, those ones where it breaks.
Plastic handle.
Yeah, the plastic handle and it breaks. Or you're going to spend $600 on a kitchen on a chef's knife, which is insane for a home cook.
Right.
And you don't need these big giant block of knives. You don't need all those knives. Chefs don't have all those knives.
They don't.
They have a chef's knife that they use for most things. They might have a paring knife or something like that. And that's all you need. You don't need that. And with these Meissen knives, you really don't need it because a couple of knives from Meissen is all you need. They're so good. You need the right tool for the job.
Yes.
Just like any job, cooking is like that. I'm telling you right now, one knife does it all. Everything. This Meissen knife, the one, does everything that 99% of all these knives can do. Not to mention, and this is crazy, free sharpening for life.
Is that right?
Free sharpening. First of all, even the sharpest knives eventually dull. We know that. And it's aggravating. So what Meissen will do is free sharpening for life. When it gets dull, you send it back. They'll sharpen it, ship it right back to you.
Amazing.
Amazing. New York Times has called it the, quote, holy grail of knives. And it's amazing. Really, chefs are saying it's revolutionary, and it's been rated 4.8 out of 5 stars on thousands of reviews. I'm telling you, we've tried the Meissen knife, and we don't know how we ever cooked without it. Cooking is faster and actually more fun. And now, you too, all of you, can join the fun in your own kitchens. Our listeners will receive 20% off their order simply by going to Meissen.co, Misen.co/small, and using our code SMALL. That's Misen.co/small for 20% off your order.
Misen.co/small and use the code word SMALL for 20% off. Go get your holy grail of knives. And now back to the show.
We'll start this out by talking about a woman. The woman has nothing to do with it, but there's a woman named Sharon Meyer. She's married. She has 2 children. They live in Webster Township on a nice house in a quiet street and all that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And September 26th, 1990, somebody breaks into their home through the kitchen window. Okay. Just a burglary. They come in, they steal a couple of things, and that's it. They leave.
Okay.
So
it's rare around these parts.
It's weird around those parts. People don't lock their windows. If it's a nice night, they'll leave their kitchen. Late September, that might be a nice night to leave your kitchen window open. Somebody climbs right in. There's probably a pie cooling out there, I'm sure.
Probably.
I'm sure a pie, maybe foghorn leghorns stomping around, wanting some pie.
She cooked in the stove and now it's smoky in there.
Yeah.
Leave the window open while we sleep. It'll suck it all out.
Be nice. Yeah. And it's weird. The people around here, a lot of them leave their doors open. They leave their doors unlocked. And this is 1990, which was not a time really where a lot of places, I had a shitload of locks in 1990, like in my place. So this wasn't a time when the average American household left their door unlocked. You know, it just wasn't.
We had 2, but they were always fucking locked.
That's what I mean. Like this isn't like 1943 where it's like their door was unlocked. Everyone left their doors unlocked. You know, who cared? But it wasn't like that back then. So then that was September 26th. Now on November 5th, somebody breaks in again. So now this is becoming a problem. At first it was like, oh, who the hell could have done that? But you know, I mean, a month and a half goes by. Right. You probably forget about it. Somebody breaks in again. Now they took about $4,500 worth of jewelry, cameras, radios, and shoes. What? I don't know. They stole shoes for some reason, and a big duffel bag that they presumably carried it all out in. I imagine that. So they're making sense. They're practical.
They didn't even bring their own bag. I guess you walk into a place, you go, "There's a bag in there."
There's a bag somewhere. If they have all this shit, they must have a bag. Yeah. Especially too if it's like affluent people. They probably have luggage.
They travel from time to time.
They travel. They got a duffel bag, something to take as carry-on or some shit here. So police believed that these burglaries were connected to about 25 other burglaries in the area, in the Whitmore Lake area, Webster Township, and in Dexter.
They got a problem.
So yeah, they're all kind of similar, and they all kind of started happening at the same time, and nothing was happening before it. So they're kind of thinking this was one person, and they narrow it down to a guy named Bernard Brooks, nicknamed Bookie. Everybody calls him Bookie. bookie.
I would have guessed Bernie.
Yeah, exactly. No, he's Bookie Brooks.
Okay.
He's about 25 years old at this time. He's kind of an area drifter. He just kind of wanders from place to place. He'll sleep in like barns and people's cars, unlocked cars and shit like that, and just kind of, does petty theft, and he's just kind of the area dirtbag, which is weird because in an area like this in 1990, when it was a lot less population, remember it doubled in population between then, a lot less population, rural area, there's not like 100 homeless guys walking around. There's one guy.
Right.
He's there.
Yeah.
You think they'd all get together and go, can we fucking do something to either get this? Can everybody hire this guy, or does anybody have a place for him?
Pools, a train ticket and get him the fuck out of here,
or a fucking apartment or something, because he can't be sleeping in everybody's barn.
Right.
Like, you think they could solve the problem as a town with only one person, but nobody seemed to give a fuck. I guess probably.
Maselica smells like a homeless.
A homeless, one of the homeless. So there, instead, this guy goes all around and does this sort of thing. And this is North of Ann Arbor. This all is, this whole area, by the way, the Webster Township. But this is a rural area. It's an odd place to go stealing. It just is. So this is between mid-September and mid-November, though. These 25 burglaries were taken here. They found a tag from this Sharon Myers duffel bag. It was recovered with some other stolen property that Brooks had stashed in a silo at inside Webster Township somewhere. He found a silo and he was like just
camping out in there.
He stashed his goods, his treasures, I guess. I picture him like a pirate.
It's a common thing, abandoned silos. That's where they like to. There's one over in downtown Phoenix that there was shit was abandoned for like 10 years. There was a meth lab under there for 2 years operating. They had no fucking idea.
They yell down the mines. I don't want to even tell you what the teenagers do down there. Sorry. God damn it. It's an old mic of mine. It comes up.
It just happens.
The great outdoors happens, okay, guys? If you haven't watched it, that's your problem.
It's got many random things that happen in there that shouldn't be connected to each other, that the storyline just puts together.
It fits for everything.
It fucking goes with every story.
It does. It really does, especially because there's like small town and all that sort of thing. So
Fish out of water. It's beautiful.
Water. You know what happens here. So they also found the reason they connected it to Brooks is that they found letters addressed to him recovered. It was like his treasures, basically. It was his letters and some personal property mixed with a bunch of shit that he stole.
Has he got a P.O. box?
From 20. Basically, he's using the silo as his like own little safety deposit box where he just keeps all his shit in there. It's like, I got this, my license. He's got like a childhood stuffed animal he keeps there for safekeeping. Stay
the fuck out of silos is the thing, because there are some sketchy folks in those things.
I wouldn't go near a fucking silo if you paid me, I feel like, because you're either going to be murdered or eaten by an animal, or I don't know, they don't keep animals in silos, but you're going to get trapped in there.
If there's a door to it that's broken, there could be an animal nesting in there.
That's
you have no
true.
fucking idea.
You're going to get trapped in there, and the only way out will be to go to the top, and then what do? You got a Rapunzel situation. Right. This is bad.
Then you got a bear climbing up with like a mohawk missing.
I have to I have to burrow through fucking 4 stories of grain to get out. I'm not doing this. This is not great. So Brooks has had a rough run of it lately. Apparently, this is a new thing for him. He's had run-ins with the law, but minor things. But these burglaries are kind of a new thing, because this is breaking and entering is what he's doing, which B&Es are not exactly okay or considered just a phase you're going through.
A few of them will get you a lot of time.
Yeah, he's going through his B&E phase. He'll be fine. You never hear anyone say that about their teenager. Ever.
No.
Yeah, he's going through a difficult stage. He's going through kind of a mopey stage.
Experimentation stage.
A smoking stage. Never a B&E stage. That's just like, fuck, that's not a stage. That's a problem. So his life kind of fell apart. He was employed up until June 1990. So this is September. This shit started happening. All these burglaries in this area. He was employed locally in Whitmore Lake at a pizza place until June 1990, when he was fired as the assistant manager. So he was moving up. He was the assistant manager. That's probably just on age, though. It was probably one of those pizza places where there was like, everyone that works here is 16. You're 24, so you're the assistant assistant manager. Enjoy.
Looking back when I was 16 working at a pizza place, thinking about the managers. I thought about it the other day, thinking about the guys. I was like, when I was 16, like, I respected these men. Thinking about it now, if I ran into that fucking dude, I'd be like, you do what?
That guy lived in a studio apartment that smelled like his own underwear.
Yes.
And you were like, he's going to guide me through life.
That's my man.
Yeah, no.
I respect his authority.
Yeah,
I really do.
Not a lot of authority. This is who we're talking about. A man who is one fucking pizza with the wrong toppings away from sleeping in a silo with a bunch of stolen property.
One of my coworkers said they saw our GM outside of work in like dirty clothes buying a 24-ounce beer at a gas station.
That's what I mean. That's what you see. It's like without the work uniform is the only thing that keeps them together. They just fall the fuck apart. It's the only thing that keeps them standing.
He had like an 88 Supra, and I loved the car. It was a cool car.
Oh, my God.
Now looking back, it's like, that's all dude could afford.
That's what he wanted.
It was a piece of shit.
Yeah, and he thought, a Supra's cool if you fix it all up and everything, but I assume he didn't. He just had a muffler hanging off.
It was a beater.
Jesus Christ.
It was like the bottom of the rung Supra.
That's fucking sad. I think about that all the time, too. Like, if you think about any store you go to and you talk to somebody and you're like, what's their life like?
Right.
You know, because I know if people talk to me, they're like, what's your life must be terrible, too. And it is, so don't worry about it. All of our lives are horrible.
It is.
We're not sniping at anybody, but we're talking about giving someone respect in a job, even though outside of that job, you really wouldn't give them any respect whatsoever. You'd be like, fuck you, you dirty.
His last name was Giancarlo, which is like a gangster-ass name.
Yeah, Giancarlo.
But he's probably the worst Giancarlo ever in history. Giancarlo.
Oh, man. The genetic fucking lake was all drained there, huh? So anyway,
he was just swamp gas at that time.
That's it. Oh man, that's terrible. Just swamp gas. Let's get Ford to investigate. So so this Brooks has been unemployed. He couldn't find another job, and this is a rural area too. It's probably not the easiest place to find work if you're unskilled. Yeah. If you're just looking for entry level work, I don't know how much of it is around here, and especially too if you're kind of 25 and you have a spotty work history and you worked at the pizza place and got fired, and it's a small place, and maybe everybody knows the pizza place guy who told them, you're a piece of shit and a bad worker. Who knows? Maybe he needs
tugging into the pepperoni. or something.
That's what I mean. He caught him doing that. He put fucking cucumbers instead of pepperoni. Something wrong that he did. I figured it was tugging into a topping. That was my first thought.
It certainly is.
My first thought maybe into the mozzarella because it's
don't get a white pizza. For Christ's sake,
Christ, that's not ricotta. No. Everybody, that's not ricotta. No, it's not ricotta. Jesus Christ.
So gross.
Or spinach. Fuck no, it's not spinach. So we don't know what that is. So so he's having a tough time otherwise. So we'll introduce somebody else here. A woman named Christine Kurtz. Okay, Christine Kurtz, and we'll also introduce a guy named Gregory Fournier. Gregory A. Fournier, his name is. He is a writer actually nowadays. He's an author. We'll talk about him. He went out with this Christine Kurtz in the 60s. Back in the the 60s when they were in high school or when they were in college. Yeah, 30 years before this, 25 years before this. Now he's written the last few years. He's written novels. He wrote one called Terror in Ypsilanti, Zug Island, a Detroit riot novel. That actually happened. There's really no novelization needed for a Detroit riot. They had riots there. That's half the fucking city was on fire.
Probably watch that on YouTube now.
Oh yeah, there's documentaries about it. There's all sorts of documentaries. I guess it's a modern day one, but I mean that's good enough. Let's just go back to that one. And then he also wrote one again about a murder case up in Ypsilanti as well from like the 30s or something. So anyway, this guy here, he talks about her going out with her back when there was I guess there was a rash of co-ed killings around that time, around that area from the college.
That's a fun word. Co-ed.
Co-ed sounds fun. Yeah.
Can we just call them girls?
Yeah, I guess they call
it's never about dudes.
Women college students are co-eds always.
Just say women.
Is so weird. Why is that?
It's the same fucking amount of syllables. Let's just say women.
Why do they say that?
The fuck are we doing?
Why is that instead of a woman college student?
Why are we saying co-ed killer?
I just don't understand why. Yeah, that is so
dumb.
Weird. I don't know where in the hell they got that label. And no one's ever cared about it.
No,
so
nobody's questioned it.
No.
But we will. Fuck you. It's not co-ed.
It doesn't seem co-ed, because also too, you have to have a guy to have a co-ed,
right,
too. So it makes it so.
How
like,
about we just say,
what if it's an all-girl college? Then what happens?
Well, what is it? Could a
Are they all
co-ed
co-eds
Could a co-ed be a dude?
Could they be I never hear that before.
It's never been resulted in a male student ever.
I've never seen like a Cinemax titty movie in the 90s on at 2:00 in the morning that was like, whatever co-eds and it's a bunch of dudes. That's never happened. It's always girls that have to raise money via a car wash. That's the only... via a bikini car wash.
It's never dudes in thongs washing Jeeps.
Thankfully, that wasn't like that.
That surprised the shit out of me.
I would have been super disappointed staying up till 2 a.m. for that.
Let's stop with the co-eds. That's not a fucking word anymore.
No, yeah, that's a good idea.
That is fucking silly.
It was. So those happened 67 to 69. Okay. But you know what Ford wanted to investigate? Fucking swamp gas. Not a rash of college students murdered.
Killing girls.
In the exact same place. Same fucking county. He's like, what's happening? How many dead girls? I don't know. That trucker said he saw a light. Let's round up the military.
Maybe it was whatever the light was. Maybe that killed these
girls. See, that's what's happening. If we get to the bottom of that, we'll get to the bottom of the co-ed killings. That's how this is going to work.
Dipshit, Gerald.
Jesus Christ. Fucking dipshit. So... he said that this was 67 to 69. This was when Christine had just dropped out of Eastern Michigan University at this point. So, she's about 20 years old in 67. So, you can do the math. She's 41 in 1990. So there you go. She's 49. She's born.
A young lady.
So she's a young lady at this point. She said she just dropped out. She managed a small boutique called Stranger, or I guess it's Strangers, near a place called Ned's Bookstore, which was in Ypsilanti.
And what was Strangers?
A boutique, a small boutique. We don't know what that is.
Where you get a handy?
I think so, in 1968.
Strangers. It's a wall full of holes.
It's a wall full of... Just Strangers, the place for glory holes.
That's a great name for a fucking blowjob shack.
It really would be. Strangers.
Come on and jam your dick in this.
Yeah, it's true. We have lots of things to jam. It's a small boutique, so they have fancy things to jam your dick into, doilies to jam your dick into, like an old lamp you can jam your dick into.
You have no idea what's on the other side of that wall.
No clue. It doesn't matter.
The lamp might be plugged in.
Who cares?
You have no idea.
It's all right. It's Strangers. That's what it's all about. It's the adventure of the unknown. Come on into Strangers, the craziest little boutique in Ypsilanti.
Oh, that's amazing.
That is, wow, Strangers Boutique. Yeah, that sounds terrible. Yeah. But it's the 60s. It's probably just a place you can buy fucking bean bags and incense holders and shit. Who the hell knows?
Hacky sacks.
Yeah, hacky sacks and all sorts of shit. So your Nag Champa fucking hookup. So they lived together there in a boarding house at that point. He describes her as vibrant, outspoken, fiercely independent. That's how everybody describes her. Okay. They say she's outspoken. She's very independent. Her sister and a bunch of other people say she has a really good sense of humor as far as she's kind of biting though. She likes to make fun of
cool chick.
Yeah, she's kind of
fuck yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't really like people that much. She's got kind of a fucking arm's length to people.
With us.
Mm-hmm.
This
Me anyway.
Great.
You might be too social for her. I think she'd be like, all right, enough out of you.
But the best part,
you're asking her 100 questions. Yeah. She's like, all right, we're good now.
She'd say some shit that would make me.
Oh
stop
yeah, she
talking,
would. She would. I mean? She's fucking funny.
That's
yeah.
what I need.
No, she's a nice person. Yeah. Apparently, she's. Like I said, she's just very independent is the thing everybody says about her. She doesn't need anybody. And for the 60s, for a young woman, that's pretty cool. Like she wasn't looking for a fucking husband to take care of her or any of that horse shit. She wanted to make her own way. And also she is kind of a rich girl as well. And we'll get to that in a second.
That's why she's got a mouth on her.
That's
she doesn't need you.
No, she's got fuck you money in a trust fund. And we'll talk about that. So she doesn't really give a shit what you think of her, which is kind of also a great feeling that I wish I could have with that.
Isn't it a bummer that socioeconomical class shapes how you behave?
Oh, it absolutely does.
Because you're beholden to somebody else, so you have to behave. But if you've got fuck you money, you can have a shit attitude.
That's what I mean. If your dad gives you $75 million in 1972, you can do anything. You really can. So
in my head, I was like, this describes somebody.
you can treat people however you want to treat them. And that's not political, by the way.
No, it's not.
You can
absolutely
you can love the
grab
policies and all that kind of thing, and you'd still go, I wouldn't hang out with that guy for 5 fucking
No
minutes.
way.
I'd punch him in the fucking mouth if I had to hang out with that guy.
Or grab pussies with him.
Yeah, well, no. Maybe you, Jim.
I don't have the fuck you money. I can't do that.
You're not the pussy grabbing sort either. It's not you. No. If someone said, please grab my pussy, you'd be like, really? You sure?
How do I do that?
That's what you'd say. Are you sure?
I'd ask
how do you want me to grab it?
Give me an instruction manual.
Do you want me to play with it, or do you want me to just grab it and hold on to it for a while? You'd have a full list of I don't want to do this wrong here.
And then what happens after? Do I just grab it and walk away?
Is that it? Or is that the end of the day?
Are we square?
Or am I just holding it for a while? You want me to just hang on to it for a bit? Is that what we're getting at here? I don't understand what's going on.
This is why I'll never be accused of rape, because I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, we're
not me.
Way too uncomfortable for that. So that's not good here. So her animals were her big thing, even back then. She was into her animals, and she's into horses, and you have to be wealthy to be into horses. Yeah. I like horses too. They're just fine.
I've look at them.
Never had enough money to go near fucking one of them, though. That's the only difference, because they're expensive to do anything with.
Most expensive thing to do for a horse, put it the fuck down.
Oh, to put it down.
It's crazy.
To feed it, to fucking have it brushed and jerked off and goddamn everything else they have to do to it, to ride it, to anything you do with a horse is expensive. Yeah. So, you have to be rich to give a shit about horses. But every animal she had, and we're talking farm animals, anything she got a hold of, she loved her animals and took care of them. Everybody said they were just her end all be all. When she was young and a teenager, her mother and father were both killed in a private plane crash.
Jesus.
Which is tough. Yeah.
Or it's a great thing.
Or it's a great thing, especially if her father owned a steel company in Detroit, which he did. And apparently, and that was kind of right before the steel industry went in the shitter. So, I mean, that's good timing for her. She got to cash out on that. Yeah. And she ended up with a big trust fund and a lot of money and no parents to raise her. It sounds like a dream. Like, if you're a teenager, that's a dream. I mean, you don't want your parents to be dead, but you want them to go away and leave you with millions of dollars to live your own life. That sounds wonderful.
Depends on how much you love them. You know what I mean?
Even if you love them,
still love them.
You're like, I'll visit them once in a while. There's holidays and stuff.
If they're dicks to you at the time, then fuck it.
Yeah, whatever. So he provided very well for them, but she was that's another reason for her independence. She had dead parents. She had fuck you money and dead parents. So
and a chip on her shoulder.
Yeah. So you have to be independent when your parents are dead.
Yeah.
And she did. You could either crumble and be weak, or you can be, or not weak, but you can crumble and
let it consume you.
Let it consume you. That's a much better way to put it. Or means the same thing, but you said it much more kindly.
One way or another, you've got to pick your path.
You went to therapy, which is called let it consume you. And I'm like, you fucking weak or what? What's going on here? What's your fucking problem? Your parents died? You feel fucking weak now? Get over here, you fucking pussy.
You pussy.
Yeah, pussy.
But you got to pick your path at that point.
You got to pick your path.
And if you've got a chip on your shoulder and you can tough it out and just roll with the punches.
It's like any tragedy.
You can really turn into an amazing person, though. That can make or break you.
And that someone probably sat her down and said, look, your parents are dead. This is bad, obviously. This isn't going to be good for you. It's going to be tough, but you're rich. So...
Good news.
Good news is you're both rich and white.
Right.
So
silver linings.
You can pretty much discount all the other things. You can even discount women because you're rich, so it doesn't fucking matter. You're just rich.
Yeah.
So any other thing in there, you really have no disadvantages.
Variables all keep coming back to rich.
To rich.
That part.
Parents or not, you could be a complete disaster. You're still rich. Right. So you might as well try to be half decent with your life.
Diagram. Where I've got this circle and
tragedy.
This circle. But you know how they overlap? Who gives a fuck? Because it's all encompassed in this big circle.
The big circle
where
rich.
It just says fucking rich. So who gives a shit?
Who cares? Doesn't really matter. See this? Do I need to print it? Because I will.
Hang it on your fridge that you own, that you're not renting to own.
Nope.
There's no payment.
Buy shit
it's
all
yours,
you want.
Because you're fucking rich.
Because you're goddamn rich. So Christy has an older sister and brother also. They grow up, all of them, they grow up raised by their aunt and in Grosse Pointe, which Grosse Pointe is a very affluent town. Okay. That's an affluent place. It's known, even if you're not from Michigan, you know, Grosse Pointe is that's kind of their, you know, Westchester or their fucking whatever, not Brentwood or whatever the fuck whatever your rich neighborhood is in your town. That's what this is for them. So, that's they grow up there outside of Detroit, and the aunt they have a big trust fund, these kids, and the aunt kept the purse strings on the trust fund and kept them, you know, tight, kept them kids from pissing away the money. And after Christy drops out of college, she's not 21 yet to take control of her own trust fund. So once she drops out of college, her aunt is very tight with the purse strings, so she's got no fucking money left at that point.
Does she have to move in with the aunt?
No, they lived with the aunt, but at one point here, the aunt stops giving her money because she dropped out of college. Okay. Her aunt was giving her money out of the trust because she was in college. Once she dropped out, she stopped getting the money.
Beautiful.
So Christy had no money, so she had to, she worked little jobs. So worked at the boutique, worked here and there.
She worked at strangers.
She worked at strangers. She was,
on the other side of that glory hole.
That's right. She's like, you never know what's back here.
Maybe I should have went to college.
Shit.
Maybe I should have stuck it out.
I wish my dad's steel company did a little better. Just a little better.
I'm
this wouldn't have to do
this wall.
God damn it. Fuck, it's sticky. It's so sticky. So she, but she was, and everybody knew it. She was working just enough. She wasn't ambitious. She wasn't like, I'm going to work my way up somewhere. She was like, yeah, I'm going to have a job and make just enough to eat until my trust fund.
Guess what?
Comes in.
Somebody's going to turn 21 one day.
So I'm going to get money then. So I'm really not going to put a lot of effort in before that. And honestly, if I'm 20, I know myself. If I was 20 and I was waiting on money, I would have done jack shit waiting on that fucking money. I would have been like, it's fine. I'd have been borrowing against it probably. Like, I'm getting money in like 6 months, so it's good. I would have been a fucking disaster.
I got an 8-month plan.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Great.
I think anybody can survive 8 months on something. I mean, even if your plan is to die after 8 months, 8 months is a pretty good stretch that you could make it through to where the end of that 8 months is your goal, whether it's death or fucking
rich,
big payday.
Yeah,
right?
Big payday. You could get through. That's what I mean. So menial shit here and there. So yeah, I wouldn't have much ambition either at 20. Like, it's different if you were like 39 and you got it at 40. Yeah. You would have been doing shit before that, and you'd be like, oh, cool, I'll add that to what I'm trying to do and plan on, and I can use that to invest in this business that I want to run or whatever the fuck. At 20, you're like, awesome, I'm going to get like fucking 4 Nintendos because it's 1990.
I'm going to get 2 TVs.
And that way we can play them at the same time, and that way we can fucking, he thinks he's better at Mario, but I don't like playing 2 players, so we're going to play fucking separately, and we'll race and see who the fuck beats it first, because this guy's a pussy.
We'll do time trials because I don't want him on the same screen as me.
That's what I would have been doing. And I would have been saying, how much weed can I possibly buy at once? How much can I safely take in? So, to purchase wise. So, they grow up there. She just works to get by anyway. But she was much more into her animals than anything else. She just wanted to board horses and all that sort of thing. She ends up breaking up with the Gregory guy. They break up. He wants to finish his education. I think he gets a graduate's degree of some kind. Okay. And she didn't want to do that. She wanted to go and stay where she was. Sure. So they ended up not getting married or anything like that, but they went out for a couple of years. Okay. So by the 1980s, she's been married and divorced. Oh boy. Like I said, she doesn't like people. Yeah. Everyone who knows her said at that point, she just decided she preferred to be alone. Yeah. She just preferred to have her own space and not be with anybody.
Sugar.
There's nothing wrong with that too. And especially if you're 35 years old, you know what you are. Yeah. You know who you are by then.
Pretty familiar with it.
Yeah. If you decided I don't want a relationship and I want to live by myself by then, you're not 25. This isn't a rash decision. No. You know what you're doing. Yeah. So, it's what she does. She ends up, buying a 113 acre farm.
Holy shit.
Which is a lot. They're not $1.50 an acre anymore.
Not anymore.
No, it's in, Webster Township here on Trotter's Lane. It's the Fire Sign Farm, and there's no fire in the story, I promise. There's no irony there. thankfully. Now she bought this farm, 113 acres, many animals as she could get, and that was it. She moved there and was happy.
What a fucking life.
Yeah, she had the life that she wanted. She really did. She didn't give a shit what anybody thought about her. She had over $1 million in the bank in a paid-for property in rural Michigan. So, I mean, she was thrilled with her life, had no fucking concerns. She had a bunch of, there's been varying reports, but the one I heard from a couple different news reports who were standing in a barn later on, she has 13 horses.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of horses. 13 horses. She has geese, goats, cats, animals, dogs, fucking everything you can imagine.
On 113 acres.
113 acres and barns and shit. I mean, it's a big farm.
My ex-wife's uncle has 7 horses. I mean, he's got a fucking farm, essentially. He's got a little ranch here in Arizona on 4 acres.
Yeah,
and it's
that's a lot.
Fucking crowded.
That's
a lot.
Yeah, 113 is a lot of acreage.
Oh,
That's
Jesus. I can't imagine how everything's
spreads.
got its own acre.
Oh, yeah. Everything. Yeah. Every horse has its own. It's basically 10 acres a horse.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. Go crazy. Share with the goats, please.
Enjoy yourselves.
Have fun. She doesn't have a job at this point. She's not employed. She's got her trust fund, and that's all she is. Yeah, what's she going to do? She dropped out of college, and she's told people, like, what am I going to do? Go get a job and make $25,000 a year when I have that already? That's stupid. So
I've been to strangers. It sucks.
A stranger's blue, and I'm not going back there. Everybody said her animals were her whole world. Tons of livestock and everything like that. She's living her damn dream.
Fuck yes.
For an independent person to live on a farm is I guess, good. I mean,
minus all the work that it takes.
I don't want to live on a farm.
That's
the problem.
That sounds awesome to me. Just like going and wandering through and seeing everything every day.
Yes.
But then you got to feed it. You got to clean up its shit.
And you have to smell its shit a lot, too. That's the other problem.
When you clean it, you generally breathe it. That's horrible.
It's just around. Yeah. It's always going to waft. You're just going to, there's always going to be that. There's always, do you smell? Is that there's shit, right? Okay.
Like shit.
You open the window.
I think I got it on my clothes.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's on my jeans. This is terrible.
Every, candles and fabric softeners that are country fresh and they show a window open out to that smells like shit out there. The country smells like animal shit because they just shit everywhere, which is fine, but I don't want that scent in a candle.
No.
And if you're not putting the shit part in the candle, you're just putting flowers and grass and shit. Then
call it flowers and grass.
Call it flower, exactly. Don't call it a goddamn country meadow, because a country meadow has a distinctive air of shit waft just cutting through it like a fucking saber. It happens. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a wonderful sponsor, Leesa Mattresses.
Leesa.com.
Leesa.com. Let me ask you a question, and I can ask this right to you, Jimmy. Are you feeling distracted lately? You're always distracted. Yeah. You're forgetting things. Yeah. You're making mistakes.
Yeah.
You made mistakes here. You've said, I don't know what I'm doing multiple times. You know what your problem is, I think? You need a quality night's sleep, Jimmy. That's your problem. You need to get you a Leesa mattress.
I have one.
And now you're feeling better, aren't
fantastic.
You? Now you're all sharp. And have you heard Jimmy say, I don't know what I'm doing in a while?
It's been a minute.
The reason is Leesa mattresses. They're that good. They're fantastic. It's the right mattress is the difference between resting and just laying down. Right. That's the fact of the matter. The Leesa mattress is the product of more than 30 years of experience in mattress engineering and hundreds of hours of testing. It's comprised of 3 foam layers that provide cooling pressure, relief, body contouring, and support. And you can just ask the over 300,000 happy Leesa sleepers that will agree with that fact that Leesa mattresses give them the rest they need. And Jimmy and myself can assure you that the Leesa mattresses are fantastic. Not only do we sleep on them, our kids sleep on them.
Right.
They're really, really good. Order your Leesa mattress online at Leesa.com. That's Leesa.com/small and use promo code SMALL to try your mattress risk-free for 100 nights. It ships directly to your door in a convenient box with free shipping and free returns. You cannot go wrong. Find the right mattress for you at Leesa.com/small and get the rest you need. Get up to $160 off Leesa mattresses or $235 off the luxury Sapira mattress and free shipping on the Leesa mattress at Leesa.com/small and enter the promo code SMALL at checkout. That's LEESA.com/small, promo code small.
LEESA.com/small, promo code small. Sleep like us. And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Blue Apron.
BlueApron.com.
Blue Apron delivers farm-fresh ingredients and step-by-step recipes to your door.
Yes.
Blue Apron's mission is to make incredible home cooking accessible to everyone, even you.
Yeah.
Blue Apron achieves this by supporting a more sustainable food system, setting the highest standards for ingredients, and building a community of home chefs. And we're telling you, we both get Blue Apron. We have for a long time. It's delicious. I like me and Sarah make Blue Apron together. Now I know you make it with your kids, and it's so much fun because you can teach them stuff, and it has the step-by-step instructions.
Yeah.
You can really have a good time with this, whether you're by yourself sitting there or with your family.
Yeah.
Even if you're by yourself, it's a great thing to know how to make these dishes.
And you learn a new recipe, and then you get it stuck in your head, and then
it's
you can
in
make
there.
it later, too.
Absolutely, and these are terrific recipes that anybody can make step-by-step. Everything is measured out exactly what you need. You cannot beat it. You choose your chef-design recipes. They deliver the fresh, seasonally inspired ingredients, and you cook incredible meals in as little as 20 minutes.
Easy.
That is as easy as it comes. It is so fantastic. Quick and easy recipe options, insanely delicious flavors, crispy chicken tenders and mashed potatoes on the menu right now, pasta and creamy tomato sauce.
Heck yeah.
That sounds delicious. It's all good, and you can get this right now. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free at blueapron.com/small. That's blueapron.com/small to get your first 3 meals free. Blue Apron, a better way to cook.
BlueApron.com/small and get your first 3 meals free. And now back to the show.
So, November 24th, 1990. This is 2 days after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
It's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving week, everybody's been back to Michigan who's moved away and gone to the bar that day before. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that Saturday is a weird day.
That Wednesday before Thanksgiving is like if you go to
fucking nightmare.
Any back east or Midwest place, everybody who used to live there is now back there hanging out at bars and shit. It's the weirdest thing ever.
And they're at the bars because their mom's fucking pissed because nobody's helping.
No,
nobody's doing a goddamn thing.
They're just there to see their friends and get drunk, and that's it.
She's covered in flour and an apron, and she's pissed about it.
Tough shit, Mom. Bye.
She has no idea how hot she is.
No shit. So this was 2 days after Thanksgiving, and Christy is a friend of hers sees Christy that day, and then nobody sees her the next day, and the next day after that. She just disappears from her house, which is insanely not like Christy because she has 13 horses and all these animals to care for, and this isn't like a once a week thing. This is daily maintenance of these animals. So she never goes away without taking care of her animals or making arrangements for someone to take care of her animals.
Okay.
That's a big deal. So so 2 days go by, and neighbors have said no one's fed her animals in 2 days. Nobody's tended to them. What's going on, basically. That's really weird.
Who wants to do this? Because I fucking don't.
I'm not feeding them.
It's a lot of fucking work.
It is. And there's a next door neighbor of hers named Ricky Godfrey, who is inserts himself all over this goddamn thing. He seems like from now, he seems like a nice guy, I guess. He's helpful. He contacts the sister in Colorado, Christy's sister in Colorado. Her name's Christine, but everybody calls her Christy, so we'll just say Christy. Contacts Christy's sister in Colorado and says, hey, your sister, nobody's fed her horses in 2 days and she's not here. Do you know where she is, or, what's going on, basically?
I'm not doing this for free.
Yeah, well, he was just kind of like, do I need to do this, or like, what the fuck's going on? So the sister said, I haven't heard a word from her about it, and I haven't talked to her in a couple days, so I'm going to call the police. So she calls the Michigan State Police and files a missing person report. And police take adult missing person reports.
It's very lackadaisical.
Not very very seriously because they go, yeah, they're allowed. They're adults. They're allowed. They don't have to tell you where they're going because that's.
Were you a dick to them?
Yeah. Well, that's part of being an adult is you don't have to tell anyone where you're going. Right. That's why I always say with those silver alerts with the old people, at what point do you lose the ability to just go somewhere and not have the entire fucking state police force looking for you for no reason just because you're a little older and you felt like going for a ride.
And you require some heart pressure medication.
Yeah, that you might have with you.
Right.
What the fuck do
might
they
be
know?
in your pocket.
Yeah, leave me alone, assholes.
I got an extra one. I got a refill and didn't tell you.
Bitch, that's
so
right.
I wanted to fucking get away from you.
Wherever I'm going, there's a fucking Walgreens. I'll tell you that right now. And I will cash these in and have blood pressure medication for weeks.
That's what it is.
That's it.
I said heart pressure.
Heart pressure. And I said it too because I'm not much better at it. So.
I'm not a doctor.
No, I'm not. Definitely. We're definitely not doctors. If there's one thing we've said it before, we're not lawyers. We're not journalists. We're
definitely not doctors.
We are.
Holy shit.
Absolutely not doctors. I'll tell you that right now.
As far as we are from journalists, keep walking, babe.
Oh, doctors way down the road.
You got some walking.
Yeah. You can be a journalist just on some skills, but this is doctor. You actually have to go to a lot of school.
Sometimes I string some words together that might be journalism accurate.
But you've never cured a person of their diseases or anything like that, or
even
diagnosed a man.
Right.
It's never happened once.
Never even been close with WebMD.
No. Fuck. It's like, oh, really? Wow, I'm way off. So,
you have a cough? I hear that's genital warts.
Yeah, that could be. Do you know that at all?
That's as close as I get.
Syphilis is going around. I just heard that. So, have you touched a lot of surfaces around the office? No.
There's a new flesh-eating bacteria that's an STD, too. So
it's pretty good. You might want to check it out.
You may want to go to the doctor.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So there's no sign of her, though. The police come and they visit. They visit at that point, and they visit twice, and they search around, and they look all around, and they don't find her.
No sign.
They look around, and they come. It's crazy, too, because they come with dogs. They come with everything. They search the whole property twice.
Oh, boy.
So, I mean, they just don't find her. They're like, I don't know. They shrug their shoulders and go, I don't know. She's gone. Know what to tell you. Maybe she left.
All right. We should, too.
Yeah. So they leave the family going like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
You know? So the animals, again, unfed until Ricky Godfrey comes over and feeds them. Okay. December 1st, 1990 is when the news of her missing kind of hits the newspapers. Now it's not just, hey, she left for a couple days. Maybe she went away for the weekend. Now it's like this woman is fucking missing for
you say December 1st?
a week. Yeah, December 1st. It's a week. Hasn't been seen in a week.
That's a while.
So that at that point, it's like, okay, she hasn't been seen in a week. She's left her animals. This shit's serious. Yeah. So they're looking for her and her truck, which is an 87 Ford F-150 that's blue. So they're looking for that. They're thinking maybe she left in her truck or, whatever the hell happened. Now, at the same time she goes missing, that week of Thanksgiving, the burglaries in the area stop.
Okay.
They completely stop. All of a sudden, no more burglaries. There's burglaries from late September all the way through that week of November until she disappears, and then they're gone. They just stop. So that's
she was doing it.
She's the bad guy. Yeah. Damn it. I knew it.
She got a bunch of jewels in a duffel bag.
Yeah,
and she's out of
that's
town.
what she's doing. She's taking off with like jewels flying out the window. It's like, fuck those jewels. I got more. No, the police now want to talk to Bernard Bookie Brooks now because they're like, that's suspicious. You're here, Robin. This lady disappears. No more Robin. That's
weird.
Real strange. I don't know and also at that point, people don't see old Bookie around anymore either.
Oh, he disappeared
too. So they're like, okay, robbery stops. She disappears. Anybody seen Bookie? Because we'd like to have a chat with him. No one's seen him. That's strange. He's usually sleeping in a barn somewhere. It's easy to find.
Remember that homeless problem we had? We don't have him anymore.
No, that homeless guy problem. And people would see him riding his bike all around. No more. Just, he fucking poof, gone. So everybody's gone here. Now, police or neighbors, when they talk to, and it's funny too, because it's funny, but it's kind of funny. The small town news here from this area, which I love a local newscast, and not like a big city newscast, like a smaller market newscast.
Somebody aiming to get the fuck out of this market.
Oh, baby, you just know it. There's just
somebody's like, Tampa, I'll go.
Two people sitting there going, we are way too good looking to be in this town. That's all it is. Two anchors going, this is
the ego.
Way too good looking. You know how many pageants she won? And just look at me. Look at my fucking hair. Please, I don't belong here.
I was homecoming king.
This is big city hair right here. You understand that? Captain of the football team. You understand? Getting the fuck out of here. This is
Oozing
terrible.
through on Channel
It's gonna
4.
Ooze through. Oozing every night on Channel 4, 10:30 p.m. after
Check out our ego. I mean the news.
after the Andy Griffith show.
Ridiculous.
Check out her tits and my hair every night at 11 p.m.
And both of our smiles.
Oozing through on Channel 4.
We'll smile through dead children.
Oh, my
Let's
God.
go.
The chiclets are going to be popping over here. You have no goddamn idea.
Yeah, that kid's dead, but look at this smile.
Oh, it's great stuff. These fucking local newscasts were just conjecture, talking to neighbors who are just like blindly accusing people and coming up with scenarios
Like
of
a
what
podcast.
happened. Yeah, it's like a podcast. Absolutely. Like
Now-
a bad podcast.
And they got the same commercials, furniture and fucking
That's
and
it.
meal
Yeah, it's
delivery.
just- ours are nationals. The only difference. Theirs are somebody's local. Theirs are like the dad in Drop Dead Gorgeous's fucking furniture store or some shit.
And a sweet tomatoes ad.
Yeah, I bet everywhere's got sweet tomatoes probably. Everywhere.
Yeah.
Antarctica, there's a sweet tomatoes just plopped in the fucking middle of a bunch of penguins.
Unbelievable.
So one of our neighbors here, the Ricky guy here, he comes out, Ricky Godfrey, he comes out and says on television when they interview him, he goes, now I just think, he goes, that guy, he's talking about Brooks, he goes, this Brooks guy, now the cops was looking for him, he goes, and then he was seen around the woods over there, he goes, now the way I look at it, he goes, the way I figure it, he says, he goes, he probably made a beeline away from them through the woods to her barn and was hiding out in her barn. And then I'm afraid she came in and found him and he kidnapped her. It was like, wow, that is quite the tale you've constructed, which is fine to have, but you just said that on television and no charges have been filed.
Nothing.
He just said, I seen this guy around. I'm pretty sure he probably kidnapped my friend.
And this is his name.
Very premature at this point to say that. And that's his name. Y'all seen him around, right? Like he was literally like that. We all seen him riding his bike and he's been over here and the cops was after him and they chased him. He made a straight beeline because he had gotten arrested for burglary a while back, but then they released him for whatever reason.
The other part is like, even if he says all that stuff, who's the producer that goes, that's the one? We run that.
Yeah, they're probably going to say we probably shouldn't have wild accusations from people who have no evidence at all in the
That
case.
seems like not just he can get sued, but we can
Yeah,
too.
it just seems really inflammatory, don't you think?
The homeless guy doesn't have a fucking lawyer.
Yeah, but that's why they change. That's why they change where they have court. Like that's why they move the proceedings somewhere else.
Tainted every jury pool.
Well, it's every time in these small towns. That's why they always go for a change of venue, because on the news before there's even an arrest, everybody in town's like, I knew he was a bad seed since he was 10. He used to come over to the house and with my little boy, and he peed on my rug one time, and you're like, that's not fair. The jury shouldn't know that. I don't think that's.
I got him fingering my tabby.
Yeah, I don't think that's prior bad acts that should be introduced here. For this, not relevant. But that's the local. That's why they change venues all the time. But here they fucking don't. They fear. They said that this Rick Godfrey says, well, he's just not going to give up hope. He said he's going to try to do anything positive for her that he can to try to get her back. And he says he even plans on visiting a psychic the next day to ask for what they can do next to help.
Godfrey said this?
Ricky Godfrey.
What are you doing, Ricky?
He's really involved in this. You know what I mean? And over these newscasts, they just keep reiterating how sweet and rural her life was. Yeah. It's just, there's idyllic music playing and there's pictures of fucking horses and her in this beautiful picturesque 113-acre barn with her 13 horses. There's craft projects all around, uncompleted. We need to get her back here to complete her craft projects and pet her dog. Literally, those are the fucking broadcasts.
Gold Canyon country meadow candles burning everywhere.
Yeah, they do. And they say some of the stupidest shit, too, on these. You can tell these people haven't made it yet, the people who write this shit. Like, this isn't a national or like a good, like a large broadcast. At one point during a broadcast about her missing, there's a reporter and they're standing like on the property and they cut to footage of the barn and they show first the barn, like a wide shot of the interior of the barn, so you can see all the stables, and then a close up on a horse face. on this horse's face, and it says, "If only her horses could talk, we would know what happened to Christine."
God.
And I'm like, okay, I hope you never made it anywhere out of that fucking town. I really hope you didn't, because that's the worst.
You wish a horse was a... Haven't you seen Hot to Trot? You don't want a horse to talk.
That's your only ramification of talking horses? If her fucking horses talked, wouldn't you forget about the missing woman for a minute and be like, how the fuck do you talk? You're a horse. Tell me things. You must know shit. What's going on?
I can't believe you can talk. Nobody's going to believe this. We can't put you on
Holy
the stand.
Shit. And you're our only witness?
And we're going to take your word as what happened?
Then the next thing would be, are horses really reliable?
Right.
There'd be people out there, these horses are liars. Right. They've been liars the whole time I've known them.
Got him fingering a tabby.
Fingering all the time. So
wait till you see what he does with a calico.
Oh my God, he gets a Siamese. We got to leave the room. December 26th, 1990, day after Christmas, fucking obviously, day after Christmas. Now, the police had been there twice. They came with their canine search dogs. The Oakland County, Sheriff's Department came in with search dogs, and they said that the odors of a barn confuse the dogs. They said that they can't find what they're looking for in a barn because there's too many other odors. There's shit and food and other animals and hay, and there's so much shit to distract the dogs. It just messes up their whole systems, and they can't do it. So if you're ever smuggling bodies or drugs, have a farm around it. Apparently, that's how you do it.
Every time the cop was like, "I think she's in its ass. I think she's in this horse's ass.
There's a goat here. I'm pretty sure it's up the goats. We're gonna have to need
this dog will not stop hitting.
Can we get a vet out here? Because we're gonna have to cut this goat open. I'm pretty sure there's a woman in there. I'm pretty positive about it, because this dog is just he's humping. He's humping. That means she's in there, definitely. He's trying to make penile contact with our victim. That's how this works.
He has got a solid hit on everything's ass.
My goodness.
I've cracked the case. The killer chopped her up and jammed her up every one of these things' asses.
Fed them to her yesterday, and none of them have had a movement yet. That's what happened. Wow. So, finds out though finally it's so hard to take seriously.
Some other detective goes, "You think he jammed him up her ass?" No, he fed him to her.
What would you do, stupid? What would be easier, feeding it to her, or shoving him up? You ever try to shove something up a horse's ass? They gonna kick you, stupid. Here, try to put this up that horse's ass. Come on.
I saw the argument happen right in my head.
Go ahead. You just put that up his ass. See what happens. I dare you to stick this up that horse's ass and see what happens to you. And like the supervisor's like, we're investigating a fucking murder. No, the horses can't talk.
Fucking fired. I told you to get us fired, Dale.
Hey, Dale, have you found out if the horses can talk yet? Because if they can talk, we're going to solve this whole case.
That news lady gave me a hot tip.
Yes, I heard her. So this day here, December 26th at 10:15 a.m., what he's being called here a Good Samaritan neighbor, Rick Godfrey, the next door neighbor, has been caring for the horses and dogs this whole time.
Otherwise
He's been
otherwise known as a nosy fuck.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Nosy fuck. He's fucking conjecture of guilty parties on the news. This is your ultimate, nosy neighbor. Yeah. This is why I don't talk to my neighbors. This is why. Because if I go missing, I don't want some guy throwing out theories on the fucking news that barely knows me.
She's got 113 fucking acres, Ricky.
Yeah.
How did you notice whether or not she's home? You can get lost in that.
I just pictured him peeking out the blinds. I can see him. They're over
with
there.
Binoculars.
Whose car is that over there? Everybody's fucking, he's that neighbor.
Yeah.
God damn it. So he's over there doing the, but he's nice. He's taking care of these horses. No one's paying him. And he's, he's over there with his kids taking care of the horses. It's him and his daughter and his son are feeding the horses, and I don't know, whatever the fuck they do with hay. I'm not sure what they do with hay, but they're near the horses, and I feel like they need to spread the hay out. Yeah. I don't know if they eat the hay or poop on it, or I don't know what they
eat it.
So okay,
yeah.
So he is removing a bale of hay to feed to the horses here, and he sees a pair of leather boots sticking out from under all the pile of hay.
What?
And he recognizes these boots as a Christmas gift that he had given to Christy 2 years before.
Okay.
These boots. And problem is, they're not just her boots. They move the hay, and she's underneath the bales of hay.
Oh, my God.
She's underneath there. She's fully clothed, frozen, because she's been outdoors in December in Michigan for a month, and she's frozen they showed the barn. It's this
stack?
It's a huge pyramid of hay.
Oh, boy.
So, I mean, whoever put her under there had to move all this hay and put her under there and move all the hay back.
That's a lot
and
of work.
it was too much for the dogs to smell with all the different things. They never smelled her under there. And hay's got to smell, too.
Yeah, it does.
Hay's, packing something in hay's probably like packing it in coffee grounds or something. It's going to throw somebody off here. But this guy finds it. The son was there with him too. His like an 11-year-old son was there as well.
Fucked up.
Yeah, so that kid, he was a little. They talked to him on the news as well too. Of course, they stuck a mic in his face, and he was like, "Hey, we saw her, and she was all frozen and stuff."
Oh my God!
And it was like it was hard to really. And I was like, "Why are you take this kid somewhere? He just found his dead neighbor,
therapist,
yeah, something.
yesterday.
At least in the house, not outside talking to the lady who wants horses to talk. What the fuck is happening? Why are we talking to this lady?
We got a better witness. He's 11.
He's a human child. He's only 11, but he's human. So we're figuring that he might be a little more believable.
English, first language.
First language.
Here we go.
Not horse. So, yes, we don't have to bribe him with oats.
Right.
So,
a nice shiny apple.
Ooh, 32 days she was missing. So 32 days they presume she was frozen. He says, Godfrey here says, quote, "I came across a boot and I moved the next bale and found her. As soon as I found her, I ran out of the barn crying. It was a very bad sight." I would hope get your kid out of there first too. Now, Kathy
left the kid there.
Yeah,
watch her. I'm going to call the cops.
I gotta go cry, son. Keep an eye on this corpse for me. Son, this is a trying time for me. Do you know it's a bad sight?
I bought those boots for her.
They're ruined now. Well, I can't take them back. They've had a corpse in them for 2 weeks, son. For a month.
4 fucking weeks.
4 weeks.
Jesus.
So her brother flew in and her sister flew in to Michigan to see what the hell was going on. They were treating the death as a homicide right away, even before they did an autopsy, because it's hard to kill yourself and then bury yourself under 100 bales of hay. That's a very rare suicide. It doesn't happen often. You got to have just enough in you to move it and then just die afterwards.
I had a coworker who lost her mind at work. And she was like, my favorite thing that's ever been shouted at work, that the boss was telling her to go do her job, and she goes, "You want me to go do my job? How bad are you going to feel when tonight I go home and put 2 bullets in my head?" And I was like, "You're going to be amazing to get that second shot off." Oh,
wow. Yeah, no shit. She's ambitious. If I'm the boss, though, I'm promoting her, because that's a lady with ambition.
Wait till I go home and put 2 bullets in my head. I was just like,
wow.
She has no idea what she just said.
You know what? You're reaching for the stars. You're managing this joint from now on.
You're
going to be my person. You keep an eye on everybody else for me, will you?
How would you feel about 6 people working under you?
I think. Oh, Christ. That's amazing.
Fucking incredible.
So the police want to question Bookie Brooks. He is still on the run, though. They cannot find him, or just in the wind. They can't find him. He has been charged with burglary and receiving and concealing stolen property in connection to a November 17th burglary that was less than a mile from Christy Kurtz's home. Okay. So that's getting closer. Like, all these robberies got closer. Yeah. He's also a suspect in the other 20 burglaries that we talked about before. All of these burglaries are within 2 miles of Christie's farm.
Jesus.
So it's basically everybody that lives around there. Yeah. He's burglarized. They found that they think all of these burglaries, there was guns, food, and sleeping bags, and basically survivalist shit he took. Most of the time, he didn't take jewelry, except for a couple of them. Most of the time, it was guns and ammo and shit like that.
Stuff a homeless need.
Stuff people, especially if you live in the rural Michigan and you're going from barn to barn at night, you might want to have something to protect yourself from animals or some shit.
This is like arachnophobia, though. They're getting the target right on her barn. Was he living in her fucking barn?
Well, that's what he was living in all different barns, and he'd been found all over the place. lay sleeping, and like that silo seemed to be his home base where he kept his shit there. Also, her 87 Ford pickup truck is still missing. So yeah, he's suspected of all this. They believe that he was living in abandoned buildings in Webster and Northfield townships, and was last seen, Brooks, by a state police that were on patrol on November 21st. He was leaving Independence Lake County Park when they saw him there. He was identified there, and he had been reported in at first he was staying in hotels in Whitmore Lake in Ann Arbor. After he got fired, he was staying in a bunch of shitty motels, and then he obviously ran out of motel money and took to Barnes. So I guess I don't know how much of a nest egg you can build as assistant manager of a local pizza joint, but not much apparently.
Generally, motels don't take, I don't know, rubies as a night stay.
That's usually not a handful of. I have some sleeping bags, some Army Navy surplus shit you might want.
It's not 1812.
Yeah, no, they're not going to take fucking barter for musket rounds,
and a
musket
room.
pellets. I need 5 packs of gunpowder, please. So now her house. After they do an investigation here, they figure that they find that her house was burglarized at the time of her disappearance, and they're looking for several items from her house. They said that. They said, too, it's funny, too, because they asked her sister, Kathy, if that, knowing that there's a bunch of burglaries in the area, if that would have changed her habits at all, because she always left her doors unlocked and all that kind of shit. She said, quote, Christy did not have locks on her doors, did not have locks on her doors, did not lock her door.
Wow.
Didn't have locks. Quote, she had the dogs, and anyone she dealt with, she told them to, quote, get off my land. This time it didn't work. So she was the get off my land lady. That's
fuck lawn.
Fuck lawn. Land.
All of
this. As far as you can see, it's all mine. Get off it. Out of my sight.
When you think you're off my land, keep fucking walking.
Keep walking.
Yeah. Eventually you're going to get off it.
Yeah, you're going to be just whenever I can't see you anymore. You're off of it. So December 28th, they finally formally identify Christine's body, because before that they had not. They were very tight-lipped about the investigation. The neighbors were throwing out theories left and right. The police wouldn't give out any information, cause of death. They wouldn't say it was definitely Christine, even though the next-door neighbor said, holy shit, there's Christine wearing the boots I bought her. Right. It's Christine. But as
far as Ricky's concerned, this shit's solved.
Yeah, exactly.
It's done.
I feel like they didn't want to spook Brooks, so they were trying to be a little casual about, like, well, we don't know what happened to her, and then maybe he would come sniffing around and they could scoop him up, possibly, rather than just, that fucking Brooks got her. Let's get him. Maybe to lure him in with
he's off the grid. You start making wild accusations, and he catches wind of it.
Disappear. Yeah. And this guy was on the news just throwing out crazy shit. They said the body was badly decomposed and then partially frozen afterwards. So it was kind of, when the temperature would rise and fall.
So shitty.
It's a very, very shitty way to go out. They used dental and medical records to, positively identify her. They ended up saying that she was shot once in the back at close range with a .38 caliber gun. So
dear Christ,
that's how she went out.
That's not even fast. I mean, unless you hit the heart.
Unless you got the heart or spinal cord and
she's
something.
laying there.
Yeah, that's a rough way to go. It's terrible too, and there wasn't any trauma besides that. There was no beating or there was no anything. This was possibly a surprise.
Right.
So
ambush.
That's what I mean. She might not ever saw it coming, which is even kind of worse, honestly, or better, depending on how you look at it. Her brother Rick is there back there talking to the local news. For Christ's sake, they'll put anything on television, obviously, too. This guy has a right to say something. He says, quote, I feel angry that someone thinks they can take someone else's life like it doesn't mean anything. Not just my sister's case here. It's happening more and more, even in small towns now. I think it's a sad state of affairs.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong, but...
You're not wrong, but I love anyone saying I think it's a sad state of affairs. That, to me, is the most just fucking damning thing you could say about anything. It's a sad state of affairs right there. Even in small towns now, it's happening.
This whole thing is bullshit.
Yeah, that's the nice way of saying that. So December 31st, 1990, they find Bookie Brooks. He was on the run. He is arrested in Mississippi in the vicinity of his parents' home in Mississippi.
Running home.
He went all the way home. Yeah. By the way, if you're on the run, don't go to your parents' house because that's the first place they look.
Never go anywhere that everybody knows you know somebody.
That's the bad part. Yeah, go somewhere where you don't know anybody, and then you have to sleep in a barn. So I don't know. It's harder.
Also, don't do Mexico. How about that?
Yeah, that's not going to work
always
either.
Get caught
you're
going
always
to
getting
Mexico.
caught. Try Canada, but they won't let you in though. Probably Canada's tough to get into.
They got a
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
clerk there with a desk and running numbers and shit.
Take a boat, go out about 5 miles, and swim around in a circle.
There you go.
It. You're good.
You've won.
You win. International waters. So also at the time of his arrest, he had her truck. He was in possession of the Ford F-150.
That's how he got so far.
So yeah, he took her truck all the way down to Mississippi.
That's a long bike ride.
And it was 2 days before the police even showed up.
Yeah.
So before they even looked into it. So they didn't.
Head start.
It was 3 days. He had enough time to drive down there without even anybody looking for that truck. Yeah. So not a bad thing there. Also, he has a pawn slip for one of the items that have been taken from Christie's home.
Okay.
These are all pretty damning things here. Also, he admitted when they talked to him, he admits that he had broken into Christie's home and had stolen her truck and some other property. He said that he did not encounter her at all, though, while he was there, and he denied the murder. Now, all of his 25 B&Es are all on unoccupied. They're all no one's home. Right. There's never been anyone home during any of his B&Es.
So the story sounds plausible.
So that's what I mean. He doesn't break into shit generally when anyone's there.
And he could say, I've never murdered anybody, but you also never stole a vehicle before.
That's the other thing. He never took that. There's a lot of things he hasn't done.
Yeah.
So, and also there's also escalation, and if who knows if she caught him and he was already busted once before, a week before that, he might now not want her to get arrested again. It compounds it. You never know. There's a lot of, but it looks bad for him at this point here, having her, and he also has some other stolen property of hers, just, trinkets, this and that. He does deny the murder. He was in Harrison County down there. Yeah. Now he is taken on a fugitive warrant right away before even Michigan can file for any kind of extradition, because there's a fugitive warrant from Colorado where he is on probation for a burglary conviction there.
Some bitch is getting all over the place.
So right away they hold him on the fugitive warrant from Colorado. Yeah. That holds him enough for Michigan to figure out their horse shit here.
Okay.
So the Michigan, the Washtenaw County sheriffs send their people down to Mississippi to question him. And while he's there, one other thing he had I forgot to mention. This is sort of important. Okay. I kind of forgot on purpose. He has truck. He has her pawn slip.
Bunch of trinkets.
Bunch of shit. And a half pound of cocaine.
What?
A half pound of cocaine.
That's a fuckload of cocaine.
That's a lot of cocaine.
Holy
He didn't
shit.
just stop on a corner somewhere in Detroit before he left and picked up an 8 ball.
Probably pretty easy to get it there, though.
I would assume probably, especially in 1990. That was kind of the peak of every corner was filled. I know in New York it wasn't hard to fucking get, so I
DC
assume,
it was booming.
I assume in Detroit was the same way. So he has a half pound of coke on him, which for a guy who's kind of homeless and doesn't, and also too, he's not known to have a bunch of drug connections in that area. To buy a half pound of cocaine from somebody, you have to know. I don't know where to go buy a half pound of cocaine right now.
And if you just pop in and be like, "Hey, I heard you sell drugs. I need a half pound,"
they'd fucking stab you and throw you in a river.
Narc, get the fuck out of here.
That's what I mean. If I really tried, I fucking hate stimulants of all kinds. You guys can hear how I am. I don't need anything else to be up at all. So, if I wanted to find a little bit of coke, I could probably find it.
A little bit.
We know people. We know comics. We could find a little bit of coke.
It's generally pretty easy to get.
Yeah, but if I needed a half pound, that would take a while.
Black kids in Nashville don't have that sitting in their pants.
And they're nutsacks. No, they don't. So where did he get this fucking cocaine? All this goddamn cocaine? Well, he says when the police question him, I stole it from Christie's house. That's where he says he got it.
So Christie's doing coke.
I got it at Christie's house.
Trafficking it, obviously.
Where he also said he saw a bunch of other drug paraphernalia there, but he didn't take that. He just took the coke because that was, the important thing.
That's the stuff.
So now the police are also like, hold on a minute here. That kind of makes us think that maybe he broke in when she wasn't home and looked around a lot and took her and did something, or either got something that was of value enough to buy this coke. Because at the time, this is like $8,000 worth of coke they were saying in that area.
You almost got to turn over the keys to that truck to get that kind of coke.
Exactly, and he had the truck. Right. And so even if you steal $4,500 worth of jewelry, when you fence it, you're going to get $800 for that. So that's a lot of shit to sell to get that much coke. So now they're very confused because they're like, "What the fuck now? What are we doing? Maybe he did do that, and then maybe he she owed somebody money for a half pound of fucking coke and they killed her. Or who the hell knows? Maybe somebody used this as an excuse that they wanted to kill her anyway.
That's a beautiful theory.
There's all sorts of crazy theories here. And there's the OJ Colombian drug lord theory. Who the hell knows here? Anyway, the governor signs a warrant authorizing the extradition. The Mississippi governor does, to get him the fuck out of there. He's like, get this murdering asshole, or what we think is a murdering asshole, the hell out of here.
Yeah.
So they have the murder charge in the works. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a great sponsor, Madison Reed.
Madison-Reed,
oh, that's right.
REED.com.
You have to go there, guys. Well, I should say ladies here. This is for you guys. This is the best hair color you can get out there, the best at-home hair color.
That's what I'm told.
Yeah, this is better than going to a salon because you're going to get it cheaper and you're going to get it. It's going to be less expensive. You're going to have more control over it. And with a great product like Madison Reed, it is actually just as high quality. Jimmy, I look at your head right now and I see it's screaming for some Madison Reed.
Fill it in.
Now, obviously, we are two men. I have short brown hair. I have no need for any kind of color. Jimmy has
zero,
hardly any hair at all. So really no need for a color there. We could just paint his head with a Sharpie. But if he did need color, he would use Madison Reed.
Madison-Reed.
Madison-Reed.com, because it's, for decades, women have had really no options for this. They can have kind of a lousy hair coloring at home, or they can have this super expensive, complicated process that takes 3 hours at the salon and that whole thing. But now you can have this amazing color. It's salon quality for less than $25. That's amazing. From what I understand, they are reinventing hair color, at home hair color, and it's working. It's working, and it's a lot of what it is women you guys are busy. That's all there is to it. You're busy. A lot of times you don't have time to go somewhere for 3 hours, or you don't want to pay that kind of money. You're busy, so join all the women who are doing this life-changing, awesome thing and coloring their hair with Madison Reed. Find your perfect shade at Madison-Reed, REED.com. Madison Reed would like to honor Small Town Murder listeners with 10% off plus free shipping on their first color kit. All you have to do is use the promo code SMALL. That's promo code SMALL, Madison-Reed.com.
Madison-Reed, REED.com, promo code SMALL, and get 10% off and free shipping. And now back to the show.
Hey guys, if you like this show, you're going to love Rob Has a Podcast on Podcast One. Rob Cesternino is kicking off the new season of Survivor. Check out the biggest Survivor podcast on the web with the king of reality TV. Check out Rob Has a Podcast every week on Podcast One or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Now, her neighbors, are pissed off at the cops.
Ricky's mad.
Ricky's fucking pissed. Ricky's pissed. David Godfrey is pissed, who's Ricky's brother.
Yeah.
He's upset. Another neighbor, he lives around there too. They're super pissed off. David Godfrey, Rick Godfrey's brother, was pissed off that they didn't search the barn more thoroughly. They just went in with a dog and fucking walked out. He says, quote, I could have unloaded that barn in 2 or 3 hours. They could have fucking taken everything out and looked, but I'm sure they didn't think she's under all this hay.
Right.
But still, you probably should take a look if the woman's missing.
I mean,
maybe not the first day, but after a week.
You searched it twice.
You did search it twice, but just not really that thorough here.
Not once did you move any hay?
Nobody moved hay around at all.
He moved enough to feed a horse. That's like 3 bales.
It was a month's worth.
Okay.
So the kid, when they interviewed him on the news, he said we had been feeding the hay, and the hay was getting low. And that's why we were back to the kind of the end of the hay.
Ready. We're about to have to restock.
And they were thinking, like, what are we going to do here?
Yeah.
We're not buying hay for these fucking horses. These aren't my goddamn horses. So they criticized the police for failing to notify them of the string of burglaries, too. The residents weren't notified of this rash of burglaries in a month-long period. Nobody told them.
Nobody knew anything.
Nobody knew. Yeah, no.
Not
none
alerted
of these people knew.
We've got a real big problem.
No. And they say, they're saying, hey, maybe if fucking Christy knew that there was a shitload of burglaries, maybe, her sister said she wouldn't have changed anyway, but maybe she would have fucking, whatever. I don't know.
She should have gone to Home Depot,
yeah,
Ace Hardware, and put at least a fucking chain on on the door.
Yeah, slapped a little turnover one on the doorknob. I don't know, something, anything. One guy said here, quote, "Why did it have to get to this point? He was probably sleeping in her barn, and she surprised him. We've lost things from our house, but it's nothing like Christy losing her life." That was the Godfrey guy, because he, again, has to throw out some theories here. He's got stuff. He thought about this very thoroughly.
Sitting around just thinking.
Yeah, he's
constantly.
And the interview with this guy, I don't want to make fun of this guy too bad, but the interview with him, he was like leaned back on his couch with like a cat, like a dog on his lap over here and one over here. And he's just like, I'm just telling you right now. I don't know, in his living room with like shitty lighting.
Sitting there whittling.
That's what it was like with like that one camera light on him, that they have on the shitty local news. Good God. So now the people, the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Department, they said that they patrol the area and they've been working on the burglaries, but there's no neighborhood watch program, and that the police lack the resources to notify the residents of such crimes. This is what small town shit is. Like,
we don't have
the resources.
Person? We don't have a fucking flyer.
We don't have a flyer.
Printer?
That's what I mean. No, they don't.
What?
They can't make Xeroxes. No, they cut them off. They ran out of toner. And
I mean, all you really need is a bulletin board for the town.
That's all.
And then
they'll
tack.
Just tell Rick.
Yeah.
He'll tell everybody. He'll get on
Rick
the
a
news.
call.
He'll have a theory of who's responsible for it. He'll investigate the whole thing. Rick's looking into the shit.
Yeah.
Come on, Rick.
Rick's your town crier.
He is the town crier. So another one here said now, Brenda Asaro said she's going to now organizing a neighborhood watch.
Yeah.
A little late for that, but that's fine. She said, this Asaro said that she saw a man matching Brooks's description riding a bicycle several times in mid-November, and she said, quote, "If police had let us know who this guy was, we could have gotten him." Mm-hmm. Gotten him? He's riding his bike. What were you going to do? Tackle him?
Just run up and tackle a dude on his bike? What if that's just a dude that likes to ride his bike?
And the other thing is, even if they knew that he had been arrested for burglaries but had been released on bail, he's allowed to ride his fucking bike around. Well, you can't just get him because he's been arrested for a crime. Get him. That's not how this works. I think she's missing what Neighborhood Watch is, and it's not that. It's not a vigilante justice group that fucking tackles men off bicycles.
She's a female George Zimmerman.
Yeah, we could have gotten him. Damn it, could have gotten
just
him.
Out there with a 45, just blasting dudes on
firing
bicycles.
indiscriminately. So, February 9th, 1991, Brooks is arraigned on a murder charge. Okay. So now, first-degree murder. This is too. They're not fucking around with this. Mm-hmm. This is a robbery. There's aggravators. This is not great. February 21st, 1991, they have hearings about all of this shit to see to see whether it'll go forward. Okay. Your hearing here. They had a dozen witness testimonies, including a number of the burglary victims from around the area. They're a guy named William Miller, who's one of the investigators. He's testified that a November 14th break-in at his house, someone stole a .38 caliber Smith & Wesson revolver, the holster, and a box of discontinued Western .38 caliber bullets that hadn't been made since 1975.
Wow.
So that's very distinct. A guy named Herbert Lintz, who lives near this Miller guy, said that 4 guns were stolen from him, including a .38 caliber Colt Special and a very distinctive pouch. That these were stolen on November 17th. Sheriff's Department detectives also said that the gun found in Kurtz's truck it was in Lintz's gun pouch, the very distinctive one, along with a box of bullets like the ones that were stolen from Miller, the discontinued ones from 1975. They never found Lintz's Colt revolver. That's the one piece of that puzzle that was missing. They found Miller's gun in Lintz's pouch with Miller's ammo. Is how it worked here. So Michigan, other state firearms expert, said that the bullet that killed Kurtz was the same type of bullet stolen from Miller, which is very important because that bullet has not been made since 1975. Right. So that's very distinctive. Not a lot of people walking around with 15-year-old ammo out there. So yeah, they said that the bullet was most likely fired from a .38 caliber Colt Special, based on the markings, which is pretty much the exact gun that Lintz had stolen from him that's missing.
Got it.
So there's all
puzzles
these
coming together.
there's pieces coming together here, and they found in his possession that handgun case had distinctive black markings and like we said, the unusual bullet also. So they think that this, in their mind, that's enough to link Brooks to this case, and that's that. Now, Kurtz here, Jesus Christ, I feel bad for her. She's out there, close range bullet in the goddamn back like that. That's a tough way to go on your own place too. And then if she didn't die right away, then she got left there in the middle of nowhere, knowing that no one's going to help her because the only people around are her horses, and we know how useless they are at things like talking.
Can't even talk.
And giving medical attention. They're not good at giving medical attention.
Mouth to mouth. It doesn't even know to do it.
Yeah, that's absolutely. So they found all this in her truck, which was in his possession, on another coast.
Right.
So that's not terrific for him here. Now, they also... police testify that Brooks confessed to 3 break-ins, but he said he took only 3 guns from Lintz, not the amount he said. He also admitted that he was on Kurt's farm on November 24th, quote, watching the property. He said he was scoping it out he was casing it to burglar it. He said, but he didn't steal anything that day, and he never saw Christie, is what he says. Now, the autopsy, this is what we're going to get to, because this is a big thing in the pre-trial.
Okay.
The autopsy on Christie reveals that she has cocaine in her blood. Okay, that's a twist to this whole thing.
Yeah.
Now, you can say, oh, no, victim blame and all this, but it makes it's a factor in terms of where did he get the coke, where he got the coke, in terms of what her lifestyle is and who are her people that she knows. And it opens up. It goes from a nice woman who sits on her farm and does crafts to a woman who gets cocaine, which you might have to deal with a different kind of element. So that opens you up to a bunch of other suspects, I think, is the main.
But it now makes sense how she can operate that fucking place.
And that's the other thing. Well, she also has over $1 million in her trust fund that she works off of, too. Okay. That's gaining interest and everything else.
I'm just saying how she, energy-wise, how she keeps that shit
to feed all these horses.
Jesus Christ, it would take a fucking 8-ball a day.
Yeah, no shit. But this piece of evidence is not allowed in the trial.
Really?
This is excluded. This was part of their case. The defense says that it's very significant because it provides corroboration for the defense's theory that there was cocaine in her home, and that's where he got it, and he just stole the cocaine and left. Okay. That's that. Now, at the hearing, the prosecutor had the motion to exclude the autopsy results and said that the evidence has no relevance other than character assassination, is what the prosecutor says. He says, from that, then, I'm persuaded that that would allow in a murder case any kind of character assassination of the victim on anything in their background they had ever had that might cause anybody to, under any possible stretch of imagination, and I use imagination in a broad sense, to think any reason anybody might want to kill them. They had no illegitimate child, or they had had a bad traffic accident and an argument with somebody. Why I think it's not only a red herring, but it's a red herring that's stillborn. I can't. Jesus. I'm not persuaded it has any relevance at all. Jesus Christ.
That's dark as fuck.
That's dark.
That's a dead fish.
That's a stillborn theory you got there, Rick. And he said it would appear the main character and the main purpose of this would be character assassination. That may be because she had a little cocaine in her bloodstream that she ought to be killed. I think that could cause great mischaracter of justice for the jury. So I don't think, unless, of course, something comes up in the trial which might make it relevant on the true issues of the case, I think it would just be used against her, and we ought to keep it out. And the judge agreed.
Really?
They said no trial. That does not come into the trial.
I'm fascinated by that because
I disagree. This isn't what was she wearing? Yeah. That's not this. That's because that's what they tried to compare it to. Right, they tried to compare it to like, well,
not a short skirt.
What was she wearing at the biker bar? Like, that's not what we're saying. No. Wear whatever you want. This is, if your lifestyle involves cocaine, you might deal with people who are criminals. That's the life. That's what they're talking about.
And it's not necessarily just cocaine. It's not a little bit. It's a lot of fucking coke.
Yeah, it's possible that that makes his. What he said, that he got it from her house, at least something you have to look into. Right. At least something you have to look into and have it be something that you can use as a theory. It's shitty, but you kind of have to. Right.
He's a thief, he's trying to say, I'm a thief, not a murderer.
And that's what he says all the time. I'm just a thief, man. I'm a thief. I saw a bunch of cocaine. I fucking took it, and I took the truck, and I said, I'm getting the hell out of here because that's a lot of cocaine, and someone's going to come looking for that much cocaine, and I should be far away when they do. And that's, you kind of shrug.
That story.
You buy that story. the same time, you go with the puzzles. It's a little confusing here. Yeah. Now, so they said the defense's theory at trial is that Christie was killed by an unknown person who knew that the drugs were in the home. The defense counsel stated, quote, having it known that one keeps large quantities of drugs or cash in an isolated house with no locks on the door is not conducive to a long life.
Who is in possession of a large weapon too, though? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This dude's got a weapon. Oh, you're saying her, not
her.
Okay, yeah.
They're saying, I mean, anybody could have killed her. If she's sitting in the middle of nowhere with no locks and a shitload of money and a half pound of cocaine in her house, and anybody knows about that, they're going to go, let's go rob Christie.
Not a
Fuck
bad
it.
argument.
I mean, that's what I mean. That's a really kind of
all
an
she's
argument.
got is a goddamn dog.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
got milk bones. We'll be all right.
Yeah, and if it's people she deals with that the dogs know, that's another problem.
There you go.
During the trial here, the assistant prosecutor introduced evidence of her wealth to demonstrate that she had no economic need to sell drugs. They're trying to say she wasn't a drug dealer, and I never think, we're not trying to disparage Christie, because I don't give a shit if she sat on her farm and did a little bit of coke. Knock your fucking self out. I am not looking down on her for that at all. Nope. I don't care. Nope. I'm not blaming her. It's not a matter of that. It's a matter of that's a possibility. Yeah. And I don't think she was selling drugs, because I think she bought drugs like athletes buy drugs. Yeah. If you know any professional athletes buy drugs in bulk because they don't want to have to go do a bunch of transactions.
And it's cheaper.
When they buy weed, they buy a pound of weed. Right. They don't buy a shit because then they're going to go back to their house and do it. They don't want to keep going out and getting weed.
Right.
So that's the same thing with this. I feel like if you live in a rural farm and you're going to buy coke, you buy a fucking pound of coke at a time and you bring it back to your house, and she knows she's going to do some coke over some time.
Shelf life's quite a while.
Shelf life's a while. She could put it in her goddamn freezer or wherever the fuck you store it. I don't know where you store coke, but wrapped up tightly.
I've never had a half pound of coke.
No, that's a lot. That's what I mean. Never had enough to have to store.
Right. Anytime I'm
gonna have to keep this for months. That's never.
Anytime I've had enough, it was gone by the weekend because I sold it.
Yeah. No, that's definitely right.
It's fast.
So so they said she doesn't have any economic need to sell drugs or anything like that. The defense counsel proposed that the killing may have been drug related, like we say, and the assistant prosecutor said that the cocaine could have come from anywhere. They said just because he had a half pound of cocaine doesn't mean that he took it from Christie.
True.
He's a fucking breaking and entering guy. He could have stole it from anywhere. But the fact that she had, it's a connection there.
Don't leave that little tidbit on the table, though. Now Ricky's going to go wondering which one of his neighbors has got coke.
Maybe that's why he was so nosy, because he got his coke from her sometime. He's like, I've been looking for her. I don't know where the hell she is, but I'd really like to find her. If you see her, could you tell her to give me a call? No, it's not about anything in particular.
Or anybody that she runs with, let them know that I'm looking for.
If you see Stinky or Little Pete, can you tell either one of them, give me a call too? Just whatever. Just tell them it ain't that important, but call me now. You know what I mean? I mean, it's nothing crazy, but I want to know. So they said, this is what the prosecutor said, quote, now Mr. Brooks has her pickup truck and it has some of her possessions in it, but it also has possessions from a lot of other people. And who's to say that just because Mr. Brooks left Michigan that he didn't continue doing B&Es, could have got that pound of cocaine from any multitude of B&Es that he's told you he's done, which again is also true. I can't argue with that either. That's the thing. Everybody's making sense here. So the defense counsel makes an attempt during the trial to get back on the topic of cocaine a lot. They keep trying to bring it back up because he had it in his possession, so they can bring that up and bring up the theory that they stole it from her, but they just can't bring up the autopsy result that it was found in her system. That's a court fucking legal
Jumping through hoops.
Legal jump rope is exactly what it is. So the defense counsel tries to ask an acquaintance of Christie whether she used drugs or whether she had ever seen any signs that Christie had ever used drugs. And the prosecutor objected on the ground that such evidence was immaterial and irrelevant, and the objection was sustained. And later on, when Brooks takes the stand, he offers testimony about taking coke from the house and about finding the paraphernalia there. So he puts that on the record in court. I took it from her house. There's the paraphernalia. Now, the prosecutor's theory is he's an admitted thief. The jury heard nothing to corroborate his claim that he took the drugs from her, so it's not that important, basically. The verdict comes in. We'll find out if the jury thinks it's important. This is first-degree murder, so, I mean, it's a pretty fucking serious thing. Verdict is guilty of first-degree murder, which, I mean, they're going on the bullet and the thing, and that all makes a lot of sense. And the cocaine is just a cloudy issue, but it's also,
You're in possession of a gun. Well, you're not in possession of the gun that we suspect did it.
The puzzle pieces,
right. You're suspected of stealing the gun that we suspect did it, and you're in possession of the ammo that for sure went through her.
But if you're him, you could also go, I sold that to a guy for $20.
Yeah.
I bought. That's why I stole it, to fucking sell it. I sold it for $20. Gave him a handful of ammo too.
Yeah.
So there you go. I'll throw in a chamber full of bullets too for fucking $20. And I don't know who the guy was.
Oh, said he deals coke or something.
Some guy. I think he said he was going to go give a half pound of coke to somebody, and he didn't have any protection.
Right.
So the sentencing comes in, and Jesus, you sir may fuck off.
Yeah.
Life in prison for this man here.
No parole.
No parole, but life in prison. So
Chances
that's 40 years or whatever. But he's in his late 20s at this point. Yeah. It's not great.
No.
Now in the appeals court. Court of Appeals, his counsel says that the killer may have been unhappy about, this is a weird thing to suggest. They suggest that maybe the reason that someone killed her was that they were pissed off about her failure to safeguard the half pound of cocaine. Yeah. Like he stole it from her, and then this guy was pissed because she owes him money for it, or whatever the case may be.
But she's got millions of dollars.
That's the thing. She can pay $8,000 off. That's the thing. She wasn't hurting for cash. No. So they're saying also that her body being found on her own barn there, and shortly after the break-in, they failed to locate her body, even with the aid of a police dog. They're trying to say that maybe somebody put her there later, and that didn't have anything to do with him because he was already gone down in Mississippi.
Good point.
So they're trying to make points, and with the freezing and unfreezing of her, and the weird you don't know how long she's been out there.
Could delay all kinds of shit.
Like if you took a medical examiner and said, "How long was she outside?" They'd go, "Beats the fuck out of me." Beats. I have no goddamn idea, no clue. A month, a year, a week. I have no idea.
Weather reports. I got to look at what animals are in the area.
Absolutely. I got to look at insect larvae and just shit and figure out how many generations of maggot have been in this person.
Grissom would have a pain in the ass of a time figuring this shit out.
No, that's true. So they said that this appeals court says that the decision whether to admit evidence, because they're talking about his main point of appeal is that the autopsy report with cocaine in her bloodstream should have been given because otherwise she just says I took the cocaine from her house and they go she didn't do cocaine and that's the end of it.
That's a dumb argument.
Whereas if he says I took it from her house and they go well she had it in her bloodstream, then the jury might go
maybe
that's all they're looking for is a reasonable doubt. So they said quote relevant evidence is admissible while irrelevant evidence is not. Even relevant evidence may be excluded where its probative value is substantially outweighed by the danger of unfair prejudice. We agree with the trial court that the evidence was not relevant. The fact that Kurtz had cocaine in her blood does not make it more probable or less probable that someone other than the defendant, who is Brooks, shot her. The trial court did not abuse its discretion in refusing to allow the evidence. Okay. So that's the first appeals court. Then it goes to the state Supreme Court.
Oh God.
They said that it was that result would make it more probable that Brooks was telling the truth about the drugs in the house and possibly another person committing the crime. They said, quote, the fact that Ms. Kurtz had cocaine in her bloodstream does not prove that she was killed by a drug dealer, nor does it prove anything else. However, it's a piece of evidence that was relevant to the defense and the defendant sought to present. Okay. So they overturn his first-degree murder conviction, overturned based on that. That's, quote, the improper exclusion of evidence supporting that important element of the defense theory, they call it, is an error that warrants reversal. It's a unanimous opinion also amongst the judges, not even a dissenter on there.
I tend to agree with them, too, which fucking blows.
It does, but I tend to go, if you really want to do it and do it fair, you have to give them everything, and
get
that's
those
part
cops,
of it.
Get Dale back out there sniffing around horse asses and figure it the fuck out.
Have her friends all come up there, the neighbor who's looking out the blinds all the time, say, well, I never see a bunch of drug dealers hanging out at her house or anything. Do whatever you have to do, but fucking make it fair.
Whatever course he took out of town to Mississippi, follow that shit. Look for a 38.
That's exactly.
Find the murder weapon.
You find that, and then we got something. Then we got something. So retrial of him. It's basically the same evidence, this time with the cocaine in the bloodstream. And guess what? Guilty again. Doesn't fucking matter. First degree murder.
I'm impressed.
Yeah,
very impressed.
First degree murder. Eventually, though, there is a plea because he's about to get another mandatory life sentence. There's a plea before the new sentencing.
Okay.
And I assume rather than have it just hit the jury verdict and then if you have a jury verdict and a sentence, now you're going through a whole nother round of appeals because now he can appeal that just fresh. Yeah. But if he pleads,
no more appeals.
You can put waves of appeals in there. You can put anything you want in the plea deal saying this is what you have. Fuck you. We're not talking about it anymore. Right. So that's why they do that a lot of times. People are always like, well, they got a goddamn appeal out of him or they got a plea deal and they could have had him for this. It's like, yeah, but this way they know they're doing this much and it's not going to get off on appeal.
He's staying.
Yeah, because they know this shit is shaky too. So they're like, let's make sure that this is all done. So first degree murder again. So May of 2000, he pleads again. And this ends up, you sir may fuck off again. They end up giving him a sentence to 20 to 30 years after pleading no contest to second degree murder. Is what he does. They give him a second degree and give him 20 to 30 years, but he gets credit for 3,414 days already served.
10 years?
So, yeah, he gets credit for 10 years served already.
Oh, my God.
So, and this is, May of 2000.
This is a terrible deal.
May of 2000. So he gives him all that. The judge says, quote, I hope you can imagine what this family has gone through, the sadness, I'm sorry, Jesus, this isn't the judge. This is her sister. Okay. Why'd I say the judge? I looked in my notes. I wrote her sister, and I'm like, the judge says, Kathy, her sister, said, quote, I hope you can imagine what this family has gone through, the sadness, the anger. We can sympathize with you as to the impact this is on your family. We see the sadness in your mother's eyes. Okay. She said that to Brooks. Okay. So she's a decent person.
Your mom's losing a child too.
She's a decent. Whenever they say that, I always think that's a good person. Mm-hmm. Whenever they're always like, fucking, I don't care if the mother fucking dies from a heartache from her baby boy burning in hell. I'm always like, chill.
Embarrassment.
Yeah, you're 2 seconds away from stabbing someone and being on a fucking trial too. You're way too angry. You're going to go off the deep end and kill someone and end up here too. So calm the shit down. I like the people who are like, everybody here is it's a tragedy all around.
We've suffered enough. Yeah. Let's just get on with this.
This Brooks's mother didn't want him to be a murderer. She didn't raise him and go, there's my boy murdering women and hiding them under hay, just like I taught him. I told him,
you find a whore with coke, you fucking kill that woman.
You kill her, and then the scent of the barn will throw off the dogs. That's a lesson I taught him from 3 years old. Look for coke whores with barns. That's it. She's not a whore, by the way. We're not saying that at all.
And the mom didn't even say that.
And the mom never said this is all not making fun of her for it. But, so she's there. And 2009, Brooks is released on parole.
What?
It was 20 to 30 years.
And that's 20
2000
to 30.
Credit for 10. That's 19 years credit he's got, basically. So after that, he gets off. He's on parole. He's out there right now. Out there doing something.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, he's not
There's
in prison.
No update that he's...
I looked for him in the prison system and couldn't find him.
Oh, my God.
So, as far as I know, he's released on parole in 2009.
We're going to Detroit,
and
James.
We're going to Detroit. So, this guy might be very angry at us.
We're going to Atlanta. That's far too close to Mississippi.
That's close to Mississippi.
God
so, maybe Ricky Godfrey will come out and protect us at the Detroit show.
Ricky,
what do you say?
You nosy fuck, come
Ricky
hang out.
Like, I saw him poking around the back door by the stage there. I think y'all might want to take a peek. I don't know. My theory is that he stole a car, killed the occupants first, obviously, carjacked it, drove here, and he's going to assassinate the two of yous. Even though y'all ain't important enough to assassinate, he's just going to kill a couple comedians.
Oh, Jesus. Ricky, you get your ass there. Bear steaks are on me.
Yeah, bear steaks.
Come on in.
Come on over,
I'll make
Ricky.
you a fatty-ass ribeye out of bear's ass.
A luscious and fatty bear ribeye. I can't wait to give it to you. Holy shit,
what
that is,
fuck?
Yeah.
James, what? No.
That's Webster Township.
A boogeyman out? God damn it.
That's life, guys. We don't know what small town he's creeping around either. He might be down in Mississippi. His parents might be fucking dead by now. We don't know.
Caboose somewhere running around this country.
With a bindle. Yeah, stealing shit. That's what he might be doing. But now he's,
charcoal grill making bear steaks. Jesus Christ.
Well, now he's 53 years old, so he's limping around doing. No, he's 53 and he's had a rough life. Mm-hmm. Although he was in prison for a while. He might have picked up a workout routine.
Good point.
You never know. But either way, he's a small guy. He was 5'8", 175 at his peak.
He's my size.
So,
Let's go,
he kicked his fucking
ass.
It's a fair fight. Yeah. And he's an older guy. I'll take him down. It's no problem.
Well, curse me for a liar. We was
bring
legal.
it on. We was legal. Yeah, Tombstone comes up too. Sorry.
Crawfished on a bet and curse me for a liar.
We's legal. That comes up too, guys.
Yeah.
Great Outdoors, Uncle Buck.
I'm sorry.
We're sorry. It's going to happen.
Sorry.
And we're not sorry. We're not. We went on a 10-minute Beverly Hills Cop run on Crime and Sports this week, and I'm fucking proud of that. That was my favorite part of the show. Kiss my black ass. So, moving on. That is Webster Township, Michigan, and that is Christy Kurtz and Bookie Brooks, Bernard Bookie Brooks, and Ricky Godfrey and the whole clan over there. Interesting goddamn story in a weird place, and that all happened an hour away from Detroit, and I'm sure nobody there knew what was going on because they had their own problems. Yeah, they had their own issues. They're like, we don't know, the Lions suck. Leave us alone.
Enjoy your rich white privilege problems out there.
Eric Kramer starting at quarterback. We have enough issues right now. Okay, it's a Rodney Pete, Eric Kramer carousel system with the run and shoot, and Wayne Fonts doesn't know what he's doing. We need help, guys.
Barry Sanders is great, but
He's
14
great.
points a game ain't winning shit.
It's just Sanders and Chris Spielman, and we're a pile of shit. What do you think? Jerry Ball's going to do anything? He weighs 600 pounds. He's fun to look at, but he's not going to. Okay, that's enough. 1990 line. What do you think? Never mind. I'm not going to start naming receivers because I was going to start naming receivers. I'm not.
He goes too deep.
I'm going to relax.
Guys.
I'm going to relax. So that's that, guys. Thank you so much for checking that crazy ass story out. If you like that story, there is something you can do to not only let us know, but to help out the show. You can go over to the purple icon there, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, whatever it is. Give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. It's really not for our ego. It's just a business thing. Speaking of business, if you want to be a superstar to us, there's several ways to do that. You can go to all of them. Start at shutupandgivememurder.com.
Yes.
So go to shutupandgivememurder.com, and there's links to patreon.com/crimeinsports, where you can make donations, or PayPal, where you can use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com, to make donations. Also, you can buy merch, new shirts up that are special for the live shows that you're going to want to wear to our live shows, which are going to be all over the goddamn place. Houston this month, today, Thursday, the 4th, Houston the next day, October 5th, we're in Dallas. Middle of the month, we're in Portland. We're in Seattle the next night. Then on November 1st, we're in San Francisco.
It's crazy.
November 5th, we're in Phoenix, and then we go on an insane March of Tears throughout late November and early December, where we go to like 46 cities in 12 days.
It's gonna be
and
crazy.
It's fucking nuts. So please make those shows fun. At least come out, have a good time. We promise you that you will laugh. You will have a good time. Yes. And if you want to be one of those people we talked about that donates to us and is our wonderful, wonderful friends and our producers and the people that make this show run and keep going, you can do that. We told you how. And Jimmy, why don't you hit me with a list of the people who have done just that?
This week's executive producers are Sean Fitzgerald, Chrissy Ann Castaldi every goddamn week. She's
Thank
amazing.
you, guys. God damn it.
Angie Todd, Heather Gunn, Teresa Lazari, Christine Palmer, Emmy Dumont, and Vanessa Iafola, who happens to be a professor of some sort.
Cool.
And she loves your research. So
Wow.
thank you very,
Holy
very
crap.
much, you guys, for being so amazing.
Really,
Abigail
thank you.
Chapman, Kelly Higby, Ashley Vio, Jesse Herrera and Jesse Hartman, Laura Souter, Paul Ruest, Hannah Just, Lauren Demarath, Christopher Anderlecht, Mariella Rosas is back. Thank you, Mariella. Kathleen Anonymous. She gave her name, but I put Kathleen Anonymous just because I wanted to give her a little bit of credit. There's a million Kathleen.
Yes. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Matthew Dietrich, Rebecca Brahms, Jay Mullins, Teresa Schushenflug. What? No way I just did that.
Wow.
That was amazing.
Did you just rock that out?
Anita Paulo, Stephanie Igoa. Yes. Gary Howard, Janet Holm, Nina. Oh, shit! I thought I was going to get it. Nina Jorenstad. Justin Miller, thanks, man. The guy, he comes through every week and he leaves he donates and leaves the podcast that he listened to for the donation. He like 7 of them a week. It's fucking amazing.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Andrew
it's incredible.
Weigand, yeah, it's amazing. Andrew Weigand, Sinfully Delightful Clean Eating, Carla Broman, Simon Deek, he just goes by Deek, Ariana Folsom, Stacy Langto, Bryant Toole, Kyle Roberts, Kara Lewis, Nikki Dunn, Jesse Ann Shields Tobish. Holy shit, that's a lot of words.
Yeah.
Matt Baines, Tanya Romisher. Yes.
Yes.
Dennis C. Arias, Andy Rue, Ricky Dickey.
Ricky Dickey.
Nicole Cook, Amy E. Whitaker, Francis Beswick, Alana Pop. Oh, fucking, I almost got it. Alana Pop. No, I didn't. I didn't come anywhere near it. Alana Popolowski.
Who are you fooling?
I know.
The fuck are you fooling?
Andrew Buchholz, Butchholes.
Buttholes? Did you just call her buttholes?
Is it Andrew? Is your last name Buttholes?
Well,
Reagan
stands out. It's distinctive.
Reagan Shalkley, Scott and Allison Patzner, Bobby Burden, Brandon Coffrin, Kimberly Owen Goldstein, Mary Meeks, Brett Welch, Caitlin Stupik, Christine Towles, Mark Schaefer. That was the easiest name I've ever fucked up. Pamela Rogers, Mark Anderson, Kate Ives. Ioani fucking Iwan.
Got that?
Iwani Itinji? I don't know. Barbara Figueredo. It's Figueroa, but Arito. You know what I mean?
Figueroa Arito?
No, that's not it either.
Figueroa Dorito?
Thank you, Barbara. Brandy Lee, Beth Varwood. Yes. Joshua Norberg, Bill McClellan, Chris Bakey, or Back. Carrie, what is that? Oh, that's Taylor, Carrie Taylor, hey. Zachary Warburton, Force of Nature podcast. They donated. I don't know what their podcast is. Give it a shout. Brinshindo 39, Cammie Rock is back. Thank you, Cammie. Hayden Pyatt.
Yeah, thank you.
Ross McGowan. She's terrific. She's up there, and she was up in Sacramento, right? Yes.
Yes.
Cammie Rock was.
Yeah.
Ross McGowan.
Absolutely.
Sheena has Tilipov. Sheena Haas Tilipov.
Sheena has a Tilipov.
Tilipo, maybe. Matt Ward. Nathan Sanders, Thomas Smither. Damn it. Ryan Shipman, Heather Campbell, and Libby Payat. Thank you guys for being so amazing to us. We can't do it without you.
Thank you. Honestly, it's we're blown away by it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Honestly, guys, you guys make it possible. So thank you so much. And the show truly belongs to you guys. It's your show, and we hope we're doing what you enjoy.
You've adopted.
So thank you.
You're two Africans. We're your 35 cents a day.
We are, or wherever. I'm an Italian and a Coloradan.
I got a bloated belly.
Yeah, that's true. It's distended. You
I look terrible.
Yeah, but it's from beer, not starvation. What if one of these people wanted to tell you where you could get some beer to keep that going? How could they do that?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And I really appreciate it. You guys truly have changed our lives, and it's really, really amazing. Real quickly, the last person I forgot to throw in there is Angela Starrett's daughter, Megan Krikora. She turns 21 this week. So
awesome. Happy birthday. Megan. Have a good time.
And the Wishing Star Shelties.
Oh, cool.
Whatever the fuck that is. Well, I imagine it's an adoption shelter.
For dogs.
But if they wanted to adopt you, where can they find you?
Well, if you want to adopt me, you can find me at Jimmy P is Funny. Or just use my last name, copy and paste it from the show description. Don't be a hero and try to spell it because you'll hurt yourself. Do all of that. Come see the live shows. Follow us on social media. Buy a couple of T-shirts. I don't know. Give us some money. All sorts of shit. Do lots of stuff for us.
We'll see you soon.
And we'll see you soon. Jesus Christ. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.